Hello, 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 my fellow weebs and weeblets. Welcome to episode 11 of the Weeb Roundup. And normally, this is where I would spend about 20 minutes workshopping for some sort of intro gag in order to have Amu do some editing. And then we have like a hoo hoo ha ha funny moment to kind of like jerk people in to the show. We're not doing that today. As you all may or may not be aware, we took the previous week off for a multitude of reasons. I was feeling very unwell at the time in terms of just having just massive headaches. I was very, very sick. Lana wasn't feeling too hot, and Kai was not feeling very, very hot. And one of the reasons why is going to be the first topic that we kind of go into here to kind of just get through this because it's rough, it's tough. So you may remember from a few episodes back Billy Kametz, who was going through a battle with cancer. It was announced that he left us last week, and it's very difficult to see someone that is so prominent and doing so well in a field that you very much admire, at least in my shoes, where I look at anime voice actors or just like just voice actors and voiceover people in general, and I see them doing their absolute best, acting their hearts out, and just putting in so much work. And to me, it is incredible. It is a legitimate inspiration to see these artists do what they do. And when I learned that Billy Comets did pass, it was relatively rough for me because I knew him from a few good roles that I very much enjoyed, such as Josuke from Part 4 of JoJo's. Nenji from 13 Sentinels was probably my favorite role, Nenji Ogata, where it's like he played a very, very sincere punk, and his voice and performance very much added to the depth and texture of that character and how much I enjoyed 13 Sentinels. And then, of course, Galatimos and Promare. And just seeing this happen and seeing all of this work that he is going to have go unfinished and knowing that you're never going to hear another performance from him ever again is it's rough, you know? And I know you, Kai, would really like to speak out on this. So I would like to give the floor to you if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, for me, uh, the first role that I ever heard Billy Comets in was Gallo in Promare, and it was from then I started, following his career. Found out that he used to be on like Broadway. Was a theater kid. I believe he was Aladdin on like off Broadway or something, and that was really inspiring for me to see. Seeing another like theater kid go into voice acting, like I always loved hearing about that. But when I found out that he had passed away, I was in Montreal. I was at a Yu-Gi-Oh regionals, and I was literally in the club. And I noticed I have Wi-Fi, and I look on Twitter, and I see the announcement. I was quite literally crying in the club, but it hurt. It hurt a lot. I'm definitely going to miss hearing him in a lot of different roles, a lot of recurring or not. Just hearing him in other projects was just, something I really liked. He was acquaintances with a lot of people that I know, and where I never spoke to him and I never met him, I've only heard like amazing things from everybody I know who knows him. And I just, I hope that his family and those affected are doing all right. I hope that we'll be able to recover from this loss in the community.
well, well said. I really just want to say, unless Lana, if you happen to have anything to add.
I'm really bad in sensitive situations, and I usually am very good at saying the wrong thing. I'm enamored by their work, and I am blessed to be someone who heard it. So I hope that one day I could be as good as someone like that, and be blessed to have people like you guys who love them for not only their portfolio but also their character.
Yeah, and I think really just at the end of the day here, I would like to kind of take a look at the GoFundMe that Billy had set up when it was first announced that he was having his battle with cancer, and making it the forefront that he did not want to give up, that he wanted to keep pushing onward, and that while there are still some battles that you do end up inevitably losing, I'm happy that he was here, and I am happy that he worked and tried as hard as he did. And at the very least, if there is one silver lining into all of this, it is when you create art, when you create content that can really link with someone, you never truly die. You only truly pass on when that last utterance, that last performance that you gave, the last words that you spoke with someone are forgotten forever. And for someone like Billy, who has had some incredible roles, I don't think he's going to be fading into obscurity anytime soon. And I think that we will be remembering him and his work for a very, very long time. So I would just like to end this off by saying, rest in peace, Billy Kametz. You did some incredible work, and I can only really hope that everyone can learn from what you've done and remember you for everything that you've given us. But bringing us back in, there's actually a lot of news that kind of went on the week we were away, which is like, it's fucked up. Like, we take 1 week off, and then all of a sudden everything starts happening.
Especially after a couple weeks of us bitching about there being nothing on.
Yeah,
you know?
Literally, this has happened the past 3 or 4 recording sessions where before we start, we always write an outline, right? Here's the secret recipe for the soup. You write down a bunch of shit on a Google Doc 20 minutes before you start recording, okay? And so that's what we're doing.
Because we know we're reviewing shows, but, like, do we know exactly what we're going to talk about when we review the shows? No.
Exactly. And so we write down all the shit that we're talking about, and we're like going over all of like the news and the stuff that's been announced, and it's just like, man, there's not really much that we want to like talk about. And then all of a sudden, like the week we don't do anything, it's like, oh hey, new Trigun shit, more Chainsaw Man shit, Guilty Gear got patched, fucking Vegeta's jobbing again.
Shut up, dude. Come on, dude.
Fucking Persona 3, 4, and 5, motherfucker.
Oh, they're
that is kind of huge,
now, right?
Yeah. It's on every console. It's not on the Switch. It's on every console. It doesn't. Switch doesn't exist.
It's on every real console.
Not a real console, exactly.
Oh, and Xenoblade Direct in like 2 days.
Literally tomorrow. So, yeah, by the time this is out, it's already done.
Yeah, like fucking, there's too much. Why is it that, where was this news when we were doing like 4 shows and not 1 show? This is bullshit.
The most we got was literally the summer games thing before last week.
Yeah, and fucking shout outs to Jeff Keighley for putting on the best milk toast show on the planet.
This kind of overflow in news might be what's good about moving to a bi-weekly kind of nature, which is something we've discussed lately. But if we were to do that, we might actually finally be able to kill Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
or not Jujutsu, or we might be able to kill. We might be able to kill not kill Jujutsu Kaisen because we finished it today. Today is the Jujutsu Kaisen finale. By the way, for season finale, we're done.
That's what it's all about.
But we wouldn't need to fill that void, or we could finally put Tomodachi game down like the dog.
Yeah.
It's one episode from being fucking done.
What if we just didn't watch it? Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, what if we just refused to watch the last episode?
I would
boycott the
kill
last episode.
both of you.
Nick, on the condition that you make us watch all of Kaiji.
Well, the only person
We'll just trade the last episode of Tomodachi
I can literally
game.
make you watch all of Kaiji anyway.
objection. Kai's the only one getting out of suffering. I already read it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
exactly.
well, there you go.
And I'm gonna make you watch all of Kaiji anyway, so no, we're just gonna have to deal.
I don't know what's gonna happen in the next. How are they gonna fit all that information into one episode of fucking Tomodachi game?
They're
Anyway,
not.
we have news to go over.
Yeah, but in this overflow, we're gonna be only going into big detail into some of it, and by that I mean, oh my fucking god, they finally did it. They finally did it. They finally did it. They finally fucking did it. July 13th, Chainsaw Man is coming back, baby! Yeah! Finally! I've been waiting for this for so long. Fuck.
I know a lot of people who are excited. I just haven't read it yet.
So you're going to know what it's going to be like when the anime hits, and then you're going to watch one episode of it and be like, I got to read this now.
Okay.
Or you should just read it right now.
No. No,
Fuck.
not doing it.
So Chainsaw Man is fucking great. Chainsaw Man's fucking great. You've already experienced, both of you have experienced Goodbye Eddie, Fujimoto's one shot that was released recently.
So like that was a show or a manga like that was entrenched in reality, you know, like except for the vampire. But or whatever she is. She was a vampire, right?
Yeah, she was a vampire.
That was so long ago. Anyway, so besides the vampire, everything that happened in Goodbye Eddie was normal, and all I've heard about Chainsaw Man is its absurdities.
Okay, so everything that Fujimoto makes is very, very interesting. The way that I like to describe it, well, there's two ways that I like to describe it. My fucked up, stupid way, and like the normal way. The normal way I would like to describe Chainsaw Man and Fujimoto's work in general, which also includes works like Fire Punch, is that they're very grounded in terms of where things are taking place, but then he will take absolute absurdities and throw them into that world. And it's very fascinating because he'll also use a lot of those absurdities to essentially be an excuse to just not be subtle at all with any of the messages that he is trying to give. There's one part in Chainsaw Man that, without going into too much detail, essentially goes over like extreme gun violence around the world. And like it is a commentary on essentially just gun violence. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but it is absolutely like, it is so unsubtle that it goes back around to being subtle again. And then I think the other thing that's so interesting is you have all of this absurd shit going on, but it is also juxtaposed with these very, very... Some of these characters are very down to earth and will act like normal people. And a lot of the time, even the more absurd characters will hide behind the mask of acting like just normal people. And then a lot of the time, there's just that one moment where shit just snaps. And it is... No one else tells stories like this, I feel. Like, very, very rarely do I find something so absurd, yet grounded. It's such a weird way to describe it, but that's the only way I can. It's so absurd. It's trying to actually say something while being as crude as possible. And yet there's so much sincerity. Like, and then the other way I like to describe shit like Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man is you have a dude that busts into your house, he stands up on your coffee table, he takes a huge dump, and then starts reciting to you the works of Shakespeare, and then afterward pulls up a sandwich and starts eating it while still on your table. That's how I can describe and pitch Chainsaw Man to somebody. So yeah, it's coming back. I'm fucking excited. But there's more. I promise you, there's even more. Because Fujimoto, I believe it is on July 3rd, I believe. Let me double check to make sure that I'm not lying. July 4th. I'm always one number off whenever I'm having to actually look at the dates. But on July 4th, 4th of July, good old America Day, I'm scared if he's putting this out. Oh my God, he's putting this out on the 4th of July. Oh no. So, Fujimoto, in collaboration with Toda Oto, is putting out another one-shot on the Online Jump app. And I'm excited. It's going to be on Jump Plus, which means we're probably going to get it. I'm hoping it around the same time. But if it's anything like Goodbye Eddie, and the fact that it's also releasing on July 4th, I'm legitimately hoping that it is somehow made specifically to shit on America.
That'd be funny.
I am begging for this to just be, hey, yo, I'm shitting on America. I've already done it before. I'll do it again. What the fuck are you going to do about it, nerds? I'm a god. And just, oh my fucking God. I'm so happy. I could keep bitching about, not even bitching. I could keep just ranting about how much I love Fujimoto and Chainsaw Man and all of his works. But if I keep doing that, then we're never going to actually end this podcast. So I'm just going to say, look forward to July 4th and July 13th. I'm going to be screaming about it like all the fucking time. It's going to be great. And then we're also getting the Chainsaw Man anime. So when that comes out, I'm forcing these two bozos to have to watch that. It's going to be fantastic.
If that's on the list, I'll watch it. That's fine.
No, I'll watch Chainsaw Man.
If that's what we're reviewing, then at least it's something that's like, you know.
No, the Chainsaw Man anime is like, okay, so I'm going to say this real quick because I think I know exactly what's going to happen. Because I think the way that you consume this, Lana, is going to be very similar to how I consume this.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started reading Chainsaw Man, I fucking hated it. I thought it was actually the worst goddamn thing on the planet. Because the first few chapters of Chainsaw Man are like miserable, and like the character comes off as like this really shitty misogynistic fuckwad, and he stays as kind of like a misogynistic fuckwad for a very, very long time.
Yeah, well, misogynist is fine as long as they're like not consumed as a good guy.
He is not. That is the thing.
Yeah.
He is consumed less as a good guy and more as the person that solves the problem.
Oh, okay.
But not usually very well.
Like, oh, the problem solved, but like these 8 people had to die. Or we did it, Patrick. We saved the city, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. And like you're essentially seeing his absurdity, and along the way, you're seeing this shithead of a character pick up these small, very human tendencies as he goes. And as he develops, like, you're seeing it just straight on. And, like, there's very little... It's like, there's very little subtlety, but then there's also more subtlety that gets added on to it. And, like, I think by the... Like, once you get partway in, you're going to be like, this is fucking incredible.
Okay, cool. I'm excited then.
And I definitely want Kai to see it at some point because like the draftsmanship in Chainsaw Man is like it's very messy, but like messy with purpose is what I would describe it as.
Oh yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Chainsaw Man. About from anybody, like even people that aren't in animation, they're like, "No, I'm excited for Chainsaw Man." I'm like, okay, so it's probably gonna be really good. It's probably gonna be very similar to like I didn't watch Jujutsu Kaisen knowing it was going to be good. I wanted to watch it like at a time when I had time,
Mm-hmm.
I did this because I did the same thing for My Hero Academia. Like I didn't watch My Hero until season 2 was like almost done airing because I was like, I need to binge season 1 and then I can do season 2.
Ugh. No, yeah, I totally get that. And like, God, I remember when I was reading through Chainsaw Man, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get the Jump app for Spy Family, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, Chainsaw Man's on here. I might as well read this. And like, I made it through all of Chainsaw Man in like 2 days. I just didn't stop. I just did not stop.
Wow.
How many chapters are there?
I think there's like 100 something.
Not bad. That's
And it's like
Tomodachi
a
game.
it's a monthly, if I recall.
Oh, so they're like 60
Actually,
pages.
no, it's a weekly. I'm a liar. It's a weekly. It's a weekly.
Oh, so they're like 16 pages.
Yeah, I believe it's a weekly. I could be lying about that, but we'll see. Wait, no,
Oh.
yeah, it was a weekly because I believe it started in regular Shonen Jump and then ended up for part 2, which is what's happening now. They are putting it onto Jump Plus, which is the same service that Spy Family is on. So it's
Okay.
moving from weekly to monthly. I'm pretty sure is what's happening.
So there will be some longer chapters, but not many. That's fine. That sounds pretty easy to read.
And I think
That's-
the nice thing about consuming Chainsaw Man, as just the last thing to bring up, is that technically, the first manga for it is already finished because what he's doing is he's telling the story in parts and then being willing to just take a fucking break, which is what he has done with Chainsaw Man Part 2. So I'm assuming he has a ton of it already done. And he's not going to have to like work himself to the goddamn bone, which is a big thing that I'm liking to see with new Jump, where because of the fact that so many stories are being put on Jump Plus that are more experimental, it's like, oh hey, it's always monthly. You fucking get time to actually do shit and you don't have to work yourself completely to the bone. And I'm like, yo, that's sick. Fuck yeah. Maybe the manga industry won't be as cutthroat as soon, like, in a little bit of time, Oda won't have to kill himself in terms of the amount of work that he puts into One Piece.
Or he'll just finish One Piece. Because we're going into the last arc anyway.
Yeah,
maybe
if it
he
really
won't
is that
have to
close.
put in so much work to kill himself to make One Piece. One Piece is not going to finish in the next 6 years. I'm just going to say it.
That's true.
But you know what is going to finish? This segment. We're going into the next segment. And this has been a segment that I've put into this specifically for me. However, it is related enough to Lana and Kai to where I can talk about it and then they can kind of nod and agree with me.
Hey, do you know that Jacko on Match Start has full meter for their minions now? That's great. Anyway, I still fucking suck at the game.
I'm the same, except now Gamma Blade is a hard knockdown, so that's pretty great.
It's not a hard knockdown, it's a launcher.
Or sorry, is it a launcher? Okay,
It's
well,
a launcher
still.
now. Yeah.
You can combo off of Gamma Blade. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, so the new Guilty Gear Strive patch came out, and I had been in a situation where I was kind of milquetoast on actually playing Guilty Gear Strive for a while, mostly because there was a lot of stuff in that game that just kind of irked me in terms of mostly it was like a lot of the defensive mechanics, and then also just some characters being kind of, why would you play this character, I guess? And then new patch hits, and I'm like, okay, what all have they done? So I play Anji, and I take a look at Anji, I take a look at the patch notes, I take a look at everyone online, and people are just bitching, because essentially what they did was they gave Anji a shit ton of buffs. They buffed this motherfucker like crazy because he's like bottom tier. He was considered the worst character in the game. Gave him a laundry list of buffs. They gave basically every character like a laundry list of buffs, even the characters that were like really good, but then they kind of went in and normalized other things. Except for Nago I feel like Nago is just buffed and almost only buffed, and I'm like, why? That character's crazy. But anyway, so they buff Anji, and everyone online is like, oh, they took away hard knockdown on Ko. Oh, they took away the launch on counter hit charge Fujin. Oh, this character is dead in the water. He's trash. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he has a really fast overhead now. He can mix people. He has dash cancels. There's this thing where he has an infinite block string on people. His mid-screen combos are more consistent, and then everyone online is just like, no, man, he's trash. You don't know what you're talking about. He's trash. And I'm over here just like, did you all go into training mode for even 5 minutes? Trash! And like, I'm legitimately spending so much of my goddamn mental space trying to like tell people, guys, this character's good. And no one wants to listen. And it's so fucking funny. Literally the next day, the best Anji in the world, a guy named Jiro in Japan, wins the first big tournament after the patch. People are like, ah, man, it's a fluke. Don't worry about it. Next thing I know, I see another tournament where there was another Anji in top 8. It's a fluke, guys. Don't worry about it. Literally the next tournament I saw after that, there were 3 Anjis in top 8, and one of them won the tournament. And I'm like, this character sucks, doesn't he, guys? Bottom one, baby.
He sucks. Are just you know he's hard to use. Like they're just really skilled.
Fucking, I will tell you right now. I'm not gonna go and like sing to the mountains, to the high heavens, that this character is like broken or anything. But like he's good. He's actually good now.
He's a character.
He is a character and a half now. Like, I'm not going to say where he's going to fall on tier placement, because if you talk about a tier list like week 1 into a game, you are a clown, and I will call you outright as an actual clown. If you release a tier list and be like, yeah, this is a good tier list, guys, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I thankfully haven't seen a single tier list for season 2 of Guilty Gear Strive yet. I'm giving it another week, and then people are going to be like, okay, guys, Gold, Lewis, and Faust are top tier, and then Happy Chaos is going to be like, because that character's still fucked up. That character's still, holy shit, the character's fucked up.
That character's fucked up in a different way.
No, he's fucked up in the same way. He can do all of the stuff before, it's just now he can do it better. He just can't zone as hard. That's the big thing. He can't zone as hard, but now he can run up to you and be like, oh man, I'm just going to do this infinite block string as long as I have bullets. It's so nutty, but it's so hard. But yeah, Guilty Gear Strive, you should totally play it. It's a good game, except for one thing now. So with all this patch stuff, it's like the game's kind of a mess in a good way, right? They're probably going to go in and they're going to iron out a lot of shit. Because like there's infinite block strings when you get positive bonus, which means you're able to do like 3 or 4 consecutive strings, one after another, that your opponent just kind of has to hold that. But, so there's a glitch that Arxis really needs to fucking fix that was introduced in this patch, where you can go into someone's R-code profile, which is like the little status that you set up in game. You can change people's names. And when you do that, it causes their game to crash because the status on the server doesn't match up with client side. And it's like, oh, okay, these don't match up. That doesn't work. And then it crashes out your game. And it has been causing streamers and people playing in tournaments an infinite amount of grief because people are going in during their matches and changing their R codes, forcing their games to crash. And this is such a huge fucking issue that, to my knowledge, has yet to be hotfixed. Maybe by the time this podcast comes out, it will be hotfixed, and then this point will be moot. But right now, there's still so many online tournaments that are getting perpetually fucked up on PC because people are going in and just sabotaging tournaments. Like, actively cheating. But it is not something that you can trace. Because it's literally someone clicking a button and changing your name. So, Arxis, fix your fucking game. Also, Make Anji slightly better.
No,
Only
dude.
slightly.
No.
Make spin activate on frame 6.
No, dude. No.
I'm not asking.
Only if they remove Fujin. Remove the whole thing.
That's like removing minions from Jacko.
Fine. I'll just stop playing. I'll just stop playing. Or I'll just get on the dolphin, you know?
Oh god. But jokes aside, other than like the name change thing, I'm kind of liking where the patch is going, and I'm real happy about Guilty Gear right now. And I haven't been happy about Strive, like super happy in like a while. So I'm like, yo, I'm feeling it. But then there's another Arxis game called Dragon Ball Fighters. We're not talking about Dragon Ball Fighters. We're actually just going to be talking about Dragon Ball. And by me, I mean Lana. So take it away.
All right, so we're going to be starting an early version of the Lana cut, but this time I'm just going to be going through it real fast. We're going to be going through everything. All right, so first we're going to start off because I got like a bunch of stuff this morning. Like my YouTube algorithm hit me with it. Everyone was like, Vegeta got waxed! And then
That's not true. That's not true. You have to remember, Shonen Jump released it themselves on the Shonen Jump app. When the chapter hit, Vegeta gets pounded.
Yeah, Vegeta did. So the new chapter of Dragon Ball Super came out today, and I read it in this Zoom call. And so chapter 85 of Dragon Ball Super is it's simultaneously the best and worst chapter of Dragon Ball Super. So the whole chapter goes basically like this. Vegeta and Goku were fighting against the villain that's currently going on, Gas, who's this guy who wished to be the strongest being. So he gave up like the first person who did this. They gave up 200 years of their life force to become stronger than Goku and Vegeta. And so they only have 5 years left to live because they want to get revenge on Frieza. And the people he worked for, which are these like bandits, these intergalactic bandits, were like, yeah, we'll take you to the Saiyans that bodyguard him. And then they took him to Goku and Vegeta, and Goku and Vegeta were like, oh, hell yeah, this guy isn't evil. We could just fight him. And this guy's like, you're working for Lord Frieza, and you're a Saiyan, and the Saiyans killed my people. And then this Namekian that he lives with, who he used the Dragon Balls of, shows up and he's like, actually, humans or Saiyans are the reason that you survived the invasion by Frieza's forces, Granola. And he was like, what? and then those guys showed up and they wished for their guy to become the strongest guy in the universe using the Dragon Balls. And they've given up a large amount of his life force to do so. But right now it didn't really matter. Vegeta got a new form fighting against Granola in an epic gamer moment. He lost the fight. He didn't job the fight. He lost the fight very fairly. Like, it almost seemed like he was about to win. And then, which usually when Vegeta loses, it's like Jiren where he lost. Like, or Cell where he lost. Or Boo, where he lost. This one, like, the guy was, like, injured on the ground on his knees, and, like, he was holding out the finishing blow, and Vegeta was just willing to accept it, and then Goku deflected it, you know? This guy, who they're fighting now, Gas, Vegeta's fighting against him, and he's like, if you hit me, my new form, Ultra Ego, I get stronger, I have aura, I'm like Lucario, Kakarot, go over there and train, I'm gonna fight this guy. And Vegeta's like, oh yeah, this guy's beating the shit out of me. That means I'm gonna win.
Hurt me more, Snake.
So, Masako used this, when he posted his video, used this screen cap of Vegeta, like, bleeding. And I was like, damn, he's rugged. That means he's probably gonna be doing a lot of damage. So, like, Vegeta's doing, like, a large amount of DPS now against this guy. So it's looking like he's gonna win for a little bit. And then he starts losing, he gets up, he gets up like a zombie. Like, the guy's like, you're dead. I killed you. You're dead. You fell on your fucking head, you're dead. And then Vegeta's eye opens, and I'll send the screen cap later and you'll see it. But Vegeta's eye opens like a fucking zombie. And the people watching the fight are like, he's like a zombie. He just keeps getting up, and he's crinkled. One of his eyes is like bloodied. The other eye is covered like Makunochi Ippo is when he's fighting in Ippo. Like he's like, I am no longer bound by my limits. And he charges this guy, and the guy is panicking. He's like, if I take another punch to the face from a guy like this, I'm gonna get fucked up. And then Vegeta passes out right as he reaches him. He just ran out of gas.
Why is it always this? This happened with Jiren too.
No, with Jiren, he got his ass beat like by 18 different people, and like he used the final explosion against somebody else, and then went back to fight Jiren. You know, like there was a lot of outliers to the reason that Vegeta didn't do anything against that guy. This time, Vegeta went all in. Fought against the guy, gave it his best effort, and didn't get squashed. He lost. You know? And the guy was like laughing, like Merrick and Joey laughing, like, oh my god, I almost died there. Like, and so he's gonna kill Vegeta. He's like, I'm gonna get he's like, man, and everyone else was like, oh my god, I was freaking out. This guy was gonna fucking kill us. And then, and Goku's over there meditating like fucking Avatar Aang, and he puts up this like force barrier to protect Vegeta with like his two fingers. It's a very epic. It looks very epic. I think it was very well drawn by Toyotaro. This whole chapter is very well drawn by Toyotaro. And then Goku's like, okay, all right, I'm taking down the barrier. I can beat you now. I'm gonna beat you. And so he's like, I just figured out how to use my new power. And so he turns Ultra Instinct, but his hair is still black, so he looks like that one Ultra Instinct that everybody likes.
Yeah, the cool one.
But it made his it like narrowed his eyes to look like Bardock's, because Goku doesn't have amnesia anymore. He lost amnesia during this arc.
I just remembered.
Yeah,
you cured my amnesia with that.
Yeah, Goku doesn't have amnesia anymore. He remembers his father. So he goes in there, and Vegeta wakes up from like, you know, being knocked out from getting his ass beat, and like being tired. He wakes up and he sees Goku fighting Gas, and he just looks up and he goes, "Oh, this is your fighting style in Ultra Instinct? How absurd!" And then he just lays back down. So Goku's like. And Goku hits a Kamehameha, never before seen in Dragon Ball Super, truly. Hitting the Kamehameha. And it does damage, and the guy's like, oh my god, I'm losing. And Goku's like, oh, hell yeah, I'm like exactly a little stronger than you. If I just bum rush you, I'm gonna win. And so he just starts bum rushing him, and the guy, his ability is to like teleport things and summon weapons. There's this really epic moment where Vegeta gets kicked in the teeth, and he just leans back and he goes, "Ooh!" And he does Nappa's level 3 super. he just does Nappa's level 3 super, and that's when Vegeta's like, "This is Ultra Instinct. This is stupid." Like, and the guy's summoning weapons. Goku's doing his epic dodging thing he did in Super.
Yes.
And then the guy throws like a 1,000,000-foot tall cannonball at him. Goku does a forward flip over the cannonball, grabs the chain, and hits the guy with his own cannonball. Like, or what are those things? The ball and chain thing?
Mace?
Yeah. It's a flail. It's a giant one. Like, yeah. It's a chain with a giant one ball flail.
Yeah, it's a big flail.
And so Gas gets it, and then Goku hits him with this kick, and they draw it. Here, I'm gonna send it to Amu, but I'm gonna show it to you guys. Here's the panel. Looks very good. I think that Toyotaro really knows how to draw damage. Here we go. Here it is.
Ooh.
Oh my god, that's a Chun-Li level 3 super.
This is nice.
That is a Chun-Li level 3 super.
So the main villain shows up and he's like, Gas, what are you fighting for? And it's like, I'm fighting for us. And then he powers up even more than he was before, but now his body's really old. So he probably just gave up more of his life force to get even stronger.
Wait, he can just do that at any time?
I guess.
Well, because like, Was it not an ability used by
No,
the dragon?
he wished on it on the Dragon Balls. So how the fuck is he just able to go, hey, yeah, I'm just gonna make myself older now?
Yeah,
If
like
it-
that shouldn't be a thing unless like
What is
are
stopping
the dragon's
Ten Shinhan?
effects passive?
What's stopping Ten Shinhan? You know?
What is stopping Ten Shinhan? His honor.
That has never stopped Ten Shinhan. That's like saying Yamcha can pick up a girl.
Oh my god!
Oh damn!
He can't. He's girl shy. Anyway, I'm sorry I said it would be a Lana cut, but this chapter is just bulked.
It's just massive.
It's just massive. I skimmed it. That was me skimming it. Like, it's so massive.
I would like to ask you
Anyway.
one more thing before you move on to the
Before we
next
move to the
point,
next
though.
part of the Lana cut, yeah.
I would
sure,
like to
what?
know your thoughts on Gohan Blanco now being canon.
We're talking about this now. We're not waiting until we see the movie.
Look, we saw the trailer. We saw fucking Gohan Blanco. We saw Super Piccolo or whatever.
Yeah,
Orange Piccolo.
Piccolo Orange. Yeah,
Piccolo
Dude,
Orange.
Piccolo Orange is I'm way more excited about than Gohan Blanco. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and so I don't think it's a shock. I don't think anybody doesn't really know this that knows like the history of Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super by correlation are very popular in like Mexican culture.
Yeah.
So I told my friend Gohan Blanco is canon, and he just lost his mind. He just started screaming. Like I was like, Gohan Blanco is in the movie. Like I was like, are you gonna go see the movie? And he was like, why? Do you know something that happens? Tell me something that happens. And I was like, Gohan Blanco is canon. And he went, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I feel like I just told you that I'm pregnant and you're the father. Like,
The only way you could make this better is if after the fight he becomes Gohan Calvo.
oh no.
Burgabo.
Yeah, when do we get El Hermano?
No, dude. No. Okay,
Or El
so
Grande Padre.
Oh my god!
he's the highest on the power scale, isn't he?
Oh god.
So yeah, Gohan Blanco is canon. My thoughts are great.
Yes.
Final Gohan is a cool looking. I wish his hair wasn't so like. They really tried to put Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's hair on adult Gohan, and it looks fucking awful.
It looks so bad.
It looks awful. Like in a lot of camera shots, there are camera shots where it looks pretty good. It's
Yeah.
just like it's so back there. Like this is what people in 2007 would draw Super Saiyan 10 Vegeta as.
No, actually, you're right. What was then with all of the Dragon Ball AF stuff? We have reached the point, the singularity, where Dragon Ball AF has become the canon.
Well, I mean, it's because everyone was so like ridiculously vehement of GT. They have no other option.
God.
Like, it must be the case. Anyway, that's enough about Dragon Ball.
Whew.
So Mega Charizard X was beaten by a regular Charizard, and now Elaine is out of the tournament. Why did they bring him back? And the next fight's going to be, I believe, Diantha versus Lance, and that's it. That's all for Pokemon. Let's move on. We can move on now. Apparently, Mega Charizard X fucking sucks. You know, they spent 10 years advertising and then releasing it and putting it in all of this media, and then, you know, have him beat 100 Mega Evolutions, have him beat Ash Greninja, and then Leon's the best champion to ever be the best of everything ever that ever was that is ever.
I mean, Lana, you put it best. He could be the very best that no one ever was, that ever was, that ever was, that ever was, that never was, that ever was.
Yeah, that is true. Leon is the bestest ever of all time, ever. It's just, I'm so fucking sick of hearing about it. I really wish that like he at least Gigantamaxed the Charizard to beat Elaine too. You know, they really did just job that kid. He has a whole anime series about himself. Are they really going to have Ash catch him, surpass him like this?
Maybe.
If this is how they want to do it, it's how they want to do it. I'm not impressed. Anyway, that's all I got about Pokemon.
But we now get to move on to my favorite part, and that is talking about my favorite shithead Yuichi for 2 episodes.
Oh, boy.
So, when I got to this point in Tomodachi Game, the first time I read Tomodachi Game, I was like, oh, how did they win? And then I went to bed. I woke up, and they explained to me how Yuichi pulled himself out of this one. And you know what? Not bad. That was a good last resort. Right?
Yeah, like it wasn't like too unbelievable that he was able to do that.
It's just he explains it like I remember when they explain it, it's like he's a mastermind. It's like no, he was desperate.
Yeah.
And like the manga reads it a little better for me in my opinion. It reads as Yuichi was desperate and he really didn't want to do this. And then they get to the part where Yuichi admits that he was desperate and he didn't want to do this. I like that they were willing to have Yuichi show weakness in these episodes. So they're going to get Tenji. So the episode 10 begins with them Yuichi coming back from
Yuichi has come back from seeing Tenji, and he's like, oh, hey, guys, what's up? And he starts, like, pulling Maria's hair and treating her like shit. And then Hyakutaro's like, listen, motherfucker! And like, no, don't hit him. That's what they want.
Yeah, because Yuichi wants to win. So, like, he accepts that Hyakutaro can come to his side. And that's when, that's when he, like, captures Hyakutaro and ties him up.
He folds Hyakutaro like a chair. Like, that needs to be added in. That literally Hyakutaro tries to swing at this dude, and Yuichi's like, no, stupid.
But this is also when eventually they had to tie up Hyakutaro so he wouldn't try to harm another team member of his to try and get a free win. So this is when Yuichi was in quote-unquote checkmate, right? Yuichi... Then, so Yuichi and Maria have to watch Hyakutaro to make sure he doesn't do anything, right? So they can now freely just look for Tenji. Let's go find him. And that's when they go up to Maria and go, hey, Maria, Yuichi's gonna lose. We have this guy. His name is Shinomiya K. He is the smartest human being in the space-time continuum. He is so smart that he has let Yuichi fuck himself over. And now we're going to go get him. So why not you join our side? Because now you can see Yuichi quiver in fear. And she was like, I love quivering in fear. And she's like, I'm going to tell you where Tenji probably is. Because I only kind of know. And Shinomiya K's like, understandable. And he catches him. And they catch Tenji, and the game is over. And then Manabu announces, Yuichi's team wins!
And then K's like, what?
I lost! What? And then Yuichi's like, my master plan. And his master plan was, I'm going to call your fake leader, the guy who's hiding.
The captain, yeah.
The captain. And I'm going to tell him, I'm going to beat the shit out of Hyakutaro until you tell me where you are. And the guy's like, no. And then he punches Hyakutaro. And then he's like, no. And then he punches Hyakutaro. And he's like, Hyakutaro, are you okay? And Hyakutaro's like, it's fine, Cap. Don't tell him.
And then, real quick, I want to interject before you continue. There's a scene in this where it's showing Yuichi punching Hyakutaro, but it's like a really weird wide shot, and it shows him give the punch at this weird wide shot, and it looks fucking terrible.
So that's the moment where Yuichi goes, I'm going to start breaking fingers. So his basketball career is fucked. Or whatever game they play. Basketball, right?
That's basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Thank God. Okay, so he makes there's a crinkling noise, and then the captain's like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!" And then there's another crinkling noise, and he goes, "Okay, and Yuichi wins. And later, the captain punches Yuichi and is like, "You motherfucker! You fucking broke Hyakutaro's fingers." And that's when he notices Yuichi's fingers are broken. Because Yuichi broke his own fingers to try and, like, spare everyone. Because Yuichi's a gigabrain.
And then Hyakutaro knew about all of this, and the captain's like, why didn't you tell me that he broke his own fingers? And he's like, well, you know, Yuichi told me that you were going to be allowed to punch him as much as he punched me. And then Yuichi looks up at him, bloodied and battered, and he's like, got him.
Yeah, like, did you win? Did
Does
you
this count as a win? Does it really? Because I don't think it does.
Yes. Yeah, because he wins. He gets to...
I mean, he wins, yeah, but I mean...
Well, he definitely won.
Win?
No, he
Yuichi.
definitely... There is no wins, if you ask me. He depleted their life bar. He took the set. We have a saying from where I'm from. We take those.
And he did it respectfully by meeting every single promise that he told everyone he would. He told Shinomiya Kei that he would find a way to be victorious. He told Tenji that he would find out the truth and win this game at all costs, as long as Tenji was willing to do everything he said. He told that girl, if you're my mule, we're gonna win. Like, he told this guy, I'm gonna take these hits because I'm here to win at all costs. He told it to Hyakutaro, and he did it all. Yuichi found a way to do everything right at his own detriment, but he won.
And then, like, everyone's talking up Yuichi, and Tenji's like, oh, yo, you're always talking about how you're a piece of shit, but I think you're a good person. And then they go into Yuichi's inner monologue where he's like, I actually probably still would have broken that guy's fingers if things didn't work out the way that they did. Am I really a good person? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Yuichi.
Yes, in this case, you're not that bad of a guy. You're playing within the confines of the shitty shit that is Tomodachi game. But at least you are following the rules and trying your best to redeem all of these people and not burn their friendships to the ground, which is the thing that this game was supposed to be about. You did it for the money and you did it for your friends. You did it exactly in character. This is this is the best 2 episodes of Tomodachi game so far. I hate this fucking show. I hate Katagiri Yuichi.
But then we get to my favorite point where after all of this, they're like, oh, hey, you all can, like, leave now for a while. You're on probation. Just don't say anything.
Don't talk about Tomodachi game or someone's getting fucked up.
And so...
Oh, yeah. And that's a big deal, guys, by the way. Don't, like we're going to get to a lot more of that, like, in the next episode. But please remember, everyone remember this. If you talk about Tomodachi game outside of Tomodachi game, if you talk about Fight Club... the worst of the worst things in the whole series will happen. Tenji's father is an example of this. Please follow suit. Anyway.
Oh, God, yeah. So it gets to that point where, just continuing on, because this is like the halfway point of the second episode that we watched, of episode 12. Or episode 11, I should say. It's like the halfway point of episode 11, where they're back in, the real world. They're out of the fucking game bullshit. They're allowed to chill for a bit. And so Yuichi and Tenji go back to school, and they see Kokorogi, who's, like, crying and cleaning off a heavily graffitied desk. And it's like, oh, hey, Shiho and Shibe haven't been to school. What? And then you find out that Shiho and Shibe, They came to class, and everyone was convinced that Shiho stole the money because she was the class prez. She was the one that demanded it all be in cash, and people are like, that's suspicious. People don't do that. And then Shibei pipes up, being the dumb rich kid, being like, don't worry, guys. She didn't steal the money. And besides, 2 million yen? That's nothing. I can get that for everyone. Don't worry about it.
They should have just ratted out Tenji.
They should have just ratted out Tenji, but...
They should have just ratted out Tenji.
And so... They're like, oh, did you hear what happened to Shibei? And then fucking Yuichi's like, what happened to Shibei? And so they go to Shibei's house. Shibei is being escorted out, covered in blood, wearing handcuffs. And you learn, oh, his dad's dead.
Yeah, Shibei's father is dead.
And so it's essentially implied that Shibei, trying to get that 2 million yen, because 2 million yen is not pocket change, told his dad about the Tomodachi game. And then dad's dead. He's framed for murder. And then Shibei sees his friends. He's like, guys, it's not what it looks like. I'm just stupid. And then Shiho's dad, cop extraordinaire, turns to Yuichi and he's like, don't worry about this kid. This is none of your business. And, you know, Shiho's dad, the cop, is basically the same guy that killed Tenji's dad. Tenji's freaking out. And then Yuichi's like, don't worry. I'm not going to talk to you, you cop. You're scum. I'm going to kick your ass, you stupid cop. And Yuichi
Yuichi actually was goated for like 5 minutes, wasn't he?
For 3 minutes.
When he was reverse interrogating Mr. Sawaragi or whatever, like he just absolutely roasted him.
He lost it.
So now you guys, okay. So Shibei just was arrested for the murder of his father. Who's the traitor?
Kokorogi.
Well, the show wants you to believe it's Shiho, but
the show does want you to believe it's Shiho.
The show 100% wants you to believe it's Shiho. I do not believe it's Shiho.
You're off the rail on it. Do you really believe it's Kokorogi?
I don't believe it's Kokorogi.
Oh, okay.
If anything, it might actually still be Shibei. He might have actually killed his dad, and then the whole arrest is a hoax.
All right, so I'm gonna drop a little reason on you.
Okay.
There is one character in this show that has done nothing wrong.
It's got to be Shiho.
No, Shiho's a bitch. Shiho's dad's a cop.
You're right.
Shiho's dad's a cop. Oh, but Shiho's dad, interesting character. Shiho, interesting character. I don't know if here's the problem. Shiho, I don't know if she's the traitor. It's weird. Like I don't know with this character.
She's just a sussy baka.
Yeah.
That's all I know about her is she's a sussy baka.
Kai, who do you think the traitor is?
Oh, that's a difficult one. It's like the show wants you to believe it's Shiho. It's just because of what he did in game 2. I'm like, I kind of want to just be like, it's Tenji.
It's not. He's too stupid. He's too stupid. He's too much of a bottom.
Tenji is too not person smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so it's
he's
just Yuichi just creating this game on his own, essentially.
It could be.
Oh God.
It could. What if Yuichi's actually?
Yeah.
If Yuichi's actually the traitor after all of the chapters that I've read, I'm never. We're taking the show off silently. We're not even talking about it.
Well, that's the thing. I think. So I need to know then from here, where you know and everything. Who do you think it is?
Where I am?
Yeah.
I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I was about to say, that sounds like major spoiler territory.
Here, the second I send this picture to Nick is the second that Nick is going to tell us whether or not we're talking about it, or whether or not we're never talking about, or the fact we're ending this segment. Okay, here we go. Watch this. Are we ending this segment?
We're ending this segment! We're ending this segment!
Thank you. The segment is over. That's how you end a segment. So, mind at nuclear. Brain exploded
Let's move on to Kongming.
Oh boy.
Oh fuck! Real quick, Kokorogi gets kidnapped next episode.
Yeah, that's the last thing.
It's time
Kokorogi-
for Kongming.
I love how
Kokorogi-
I don't even get to
Oh my
see
God.
what it is Lana sent you.
No, you don't.
So, as with Tomo Game and Spy Family, we had to watch 2 episodes of Kongming because we had to take that week off.
I mean, honestly, I feel like doing this bit in 2 episodes is better because it's just the end of the arc.
It's actually like we get closure, and also fucking I cannot believe the way this works. Fucking so X Day is hit. It is time to do the thing to get the 1,000 likes. And
What? 100,000, man.
We just need 10,000 likes.
100,000 likes.
150 likes.
So the plan to get 100,000 likes.
Yo, this is doing number.
Yo, this is doing
15.
numbers.
1,500 likes. That's like half of Japan.
All right. 5 likes.
Oh my god, 5 likes.
Oh my god, 5 likes, dude. This is popping off.
Yo, this is doing number.
Guys, if we get 100,000 likes on this video, we will watch all of Naruto live.
No,
Oh my
we
God.
won't. There's no place where we can watch it live without getting fucking DMCA'd.
No, it'll just be footage of us watching it. There will be no footage of the show.
Yeah, we do it like how
Oh.
VTubers do it. Where like we don't even show it, we don't even have the audio. We just have a
Yeah.
timestamp, and then they have to follow the timestamp.
Yeah, you have to go figure out how you watch Naruto if you want to watch this with us. This is
Fuck.
100,000 likes, everybody.
100,000 likes.
If you guys can figure that out.
Oh god. I mean, I would say to post it on 4chan to boost, but if we posted it on 4chan, it would probably have the opposite effect because I was talking badly about the police. But getting back on topic, cool baby. So
It's time for them to perform for the 100,000 likes.
yeah, it's time for them to perform, and essentially Kongming's like, yes, I have the plan, the stratagem of the 100,000 arrows. And it's like, essentially the way this works is we cut over to Azalea, and Azalea's plan is, okay, we are going to do a surprise concert. And at the surprise concert, there's going to be a QR code. And if you scan this QR code, you're put in a contest to win what is essentially $10,000. And they're like posting about this non-fucking stop.
10,000 likes. That's all it takes.
Look, they're using money to boost it, and then Nanami is like, "This feels fucking gross. I hate this." And then producer San's just like, "That's the business. Shut the fuck up." And then Nanami's like, "Yes, sir." Like, it's awful. It's fucking awful.
I mean, it is the business. If Kouming has done anything for me, it's maybe hate idol culture. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, no, idol culture sucks.
It's terrible.
I could write an essay about it, but other people have already done it, so I don't have to.
Kouming is the essay on how idol culture is bad.
Yeah, we're reviewing Kongming. We got
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Yeah. Shout outs to Ricky Hirsch for putting out good ass fucking essay content on idol culture and why it's somewhat shitty, and also why VTubers are shitty but incredible. But essentially, Azalea's buying likes, and they're putting out just this huge contest for money so that people see the post that they make, so that they skyrocket on likes, because it's like, oh, if I like a post, I can get $10,000. Fuck yeah, let's go. And so their plan is to go to Shibuya for a secret concert, except it's going to be in Shibuya. So it's like everyone's going to fucking see it. So it's like, oh, you're going to get people searching for it. And oh, it's in Shibuya and they're going to come flocking to it. Like it's an easy plan. And so easy that Kongming catches on to it like that. Also because Kongming has a fucking ridiculous information network. It is actually insane. It's one dude, and that one dude gets everything that you ever need. If you need to know what Aiko ordered from Wendy's on January 27th, that guy probably knows.
Oh my god.
That dude's creepy. But Essentially, you see this truck going through, and Azalea is making their way to the concert. Truck pulls into Shibuya, and people are like, "Oh, is that Azalea? Is that them? Are we gonna get to see the concert?" It opens, and you don't see Azalea. You see Eiko, and you see Kabe. And so everyone's confused. They're like, "Wait, what's happening? I can barely see. Is that Azalea?" And then Eiko plays a cover of one of the Azalea songs, and people start going nuts. During the performance, a QR code shows up on screen that leads to Eiko's post about her new track. And people use that QR code, go to the post, and it skyrockets like 70,000 likes. And people are like, "Holy shit, we might get this. Yo!" And then Kongming's like, "Oh, yeah, they did the marketing. I just kind of borrowed it, And so it's like, "Oh, yeah, good plan, Koumei." But then everything freezes at around 70,000 likes. All of a sudden, Azalea pulls into Shibuya. They open up their truck, and everyone's like, "Ah, motherfucker. What the fuck do they think they're doing? Stealing our shit." And so they play the exact same song that Eiko just covered, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, it's Azalea. Let's fucking go." And so they pull out their QR code, and like you're just seeing all the boost, and they're like 90,000 likes. They're like, I think they're like 2K away from actually hitting it. So things aren't going too hot. And then while Nanami's performing, and this is one part that I really wanted to kind of accentuate, while she's dancing and putting on this performance, she sees Eiko on the other truck, and she's like, "Wait, Eiko's here. Oh no, please don't look at me. This isn't me. This isn't my music. I fucking hate this." And it's just like you're hearing this huge inner monologue while she is singing this track and doing this ridiculously elaborate dance number. And it is absolutely just heart-wrenching seeing this shit. And so you're like, okay, shit's not doing too hot. And then you cut to Kongming, and Kongming has the "I am going to cancel Azalea" plan completely down on the table. And essentially, he apparently had a plan to just completely fuck them and be like, "Yo, we're not even going to let you play. I have some dirt that I have somehow gotten, and I'm going to ruin your careers." But then Kongming's like, "You know what? This is modern times. I think I can get by without executing a motherfucker. I don't think we have to go with scorched earth this time." So he goes with the secondary plan of having Kabe Taijin drop some of the best fucking bars I've ever heard.
It's honestly really, really good rap.
This is a really good fucking rap, dude. And he is roasting Azalea. And he's being like, "Hey, yo, you guys are fake. We're the best. Yo." And so everyone in the crowd is confused now. They don't know which of the Azaleas are the real Azaleas. And everyone is going nuts. They're just spouting slurs. It's fucking awful. It's pandemonium.
Kametajin's voice actor, Shoya Chiba, just went in for vocal cord surgery. So, heart thoughts and prayers for our boy.
Oh, holy fuck.
He apparently blew his voice out, voice acting in Kongming. I don't know. Like, but what a strong guy.
What a fucking rad motherfucker. Like, oh my god. But at this point, Kabe has done his shit, and we are transitioning into the next episode by this point. And essentially, everyone's confused. And Eiko's like, "Okay, there's pandemonium. There's quiet. No one's performing. It's time. I'm gonna perform my new song. I'm gonna perform Dreamer, and this is gonna be the sickest shit." So she gets ready to perform, and everyone in the crowd's like, "Get off the stage, you fraud! You amateur, you moron!" And then Nanami is like, "Hey, guys, shut up." And so all of a sudden, the crowd's quiet. And Eiko delivers this ridiculous performance. This shit is so good. There are some cuts in this performance that go absolutely fucking off. There's this one shot in particular where it's just like a very very light panning shot that goes like from the crowd to Eiko in particular. And just again, we talk about this a lot with like Jujutsu Kaisen, for instance, where it's like, oh, Jujutsu Kaisen has a really commanding like hold of like a lot of very good 2D, 3D animation hybrid. This scene in particular goes the fuck off, and it is so pretty. And the track in general is a fucking banger. It's so goddamn good. And then you take a look down at the phones, and everyone's like, yo, the likes are skyrocketing. We got this. Let's go. And then it cuts to Steve, the guy that mixed Dreamer for Eiko,
I love Steve.
giving the last like. And I want to say that there's one part that made me pop off right before that happened, where a producer for Azalea is like, guys, we got to play our new song, max volume. You hear me, Nanami? You got to do this. Nanami takes out her earpiece, and they cut to each shot of each individual Azalea band member just in awe behind their masks. And I'm like, they're going to make them cry from behind their masks. I just fucking know it. And then Eiko finishes her track. She gets 100,000 likes. All of the Azalea bandmates start crying from behind their masks. They rip off the masks, and they just embrace each other. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Now at
Well, 'cause
that
there was a
moment-
moment, there was a moment where within like that song, like Nanami like realized that like some of the lyrics of Dreamer were kind of meant for her.
Yes.
And that's when she started like, like flashbacking to like the old days of Azalea before they started having a producer in the big city. And they're just like, I just want to play music like this. I want to be us. And that's what made them like really like break down. What made me cry when that happened.
It's so beautiful. It is so fucking beautiful. But I wouldn't even say that's my favorite part of the episode.
Oh yeah, no, there's other stuff too. It's
So after that, all of the Azalea peeps look at their producer, and they pick up their instruments. I don't know where their instruments were, because they weren't on stage. But they just kind of grabbed them, and they're like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to play. And so Azalea plays, and actually plays. They're not dancing. They're not lip syncing. They're actually playing real music. The music they played before they had a producer. And they play their hearts out. It is absolutely incredible. And it's also a fucking bop, I'll say it. And it's really funny where the crowd is kind of dissipated at this point. The contest for 100,000 likes is over. But the people that are there are giving absolutely great applause. They're just like, oh, this is fucking great. And then the producer comes up and is like, oh, I see. You all just want to play music that only a small amount of people are actually going to fucking appreciate. No one's going to watch you play the music that you all want to play. And I can see that you all don't appreciate what I fucking done with this. And then Kongming shows up and he's like, yes, hello, producer-san. He's like, you motherfucker. And then Kongming's like, hold up. And he shows the video of what Azalea had just played. And he's like, delete that video, you swine. And then Kongming's like, hey, yo, hold up. And then you look at the likes, and they had reached 100,000 likes faster than Eiko did. And that was the plan, was they were going to use the marketing power and the scheme for Azalea to take 100,000 likes. And then once they were done getting to 100,000 likes, immediately posting another video that will then also get 100,000 likes to then go to Azalea. They were merely borrowing those likes. And then it goes to the stratagem of the 100,000 arrows, where way back there was a warlord that needed 100,000 arrows within 10 days from Kongming. Kongming knew that he would not be able to procure those 100,000 arrows because it was just unrealistic. You couldn't make that many. He knew it was a ploy in order to get Kongming out of this warlord's hair. But then, all of a sudden, the warlord is under attack by a huge array of vessels, this armada. And they're like, we have to fire! Go, 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 go! And they unleash over 100,000 arrows into this armada of ships, forcing their retreat. And then, not even the next day, Kongming comes back to the city and reveals that in no time he has procured the 100,000 arrows for that warlord. That warlord having no idea that the ships that they had fired upon were full of nothing but straw men that took all of those arrows for them. Kongming, the genius that he is, took the ship back and then took all of those arrows and then gave them back their own arrows. Taking that logic, he applied it to social media, and this is why he's the best goddamn idol manager. Let's fucking go.
I think what's really impressive is that he thought ahead enough to be like, you know what I'm gonna do? You're gonna play this song that, like, you know, it was like an older like Azalea song, and I am going to, on the video, rebrand you as New Azalea. He had a fucking logo for them and everything.
No, not New Azalea. Azalea Reborn.
Oh yeah, there you go.
This man went into Photoshop, made them new branding and everything, while also having made a plan to cancel them just in case. Like, bro.
Yeah, it's breaking your own fingers so Hyakutaro doesn't get his fingers broken, but you would totally break his fingers.
If you push Kongming, he will kill you.
Yeah, if you push Kongming, he will put your head on a pike.
He was a war general, like, it makes sense.
But then we go back to the bar. Everyone's happy. Kongming starts talking with the producer, and then producer San's like, we're enemies. You know this, right? And then Kongming's like, nonsense. We're not enemies. I don't know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, he is literally wearing a sash over his body that says, I am the mastermind. And I'm like, this motherfucker.
Just in case that manager didn't know who Aiko's manager was. Just got the guy dressed like he's from Three Kingdoms. You know, I'm gonna wear a shirt that tells people that I'm gonna fucking beat their asses.
No, exactly. It's like the Smash Brothers equivalent of I'm going to multi-shine you, but wearing that on a shirt. Oh, fuck. And then it turns out he had sent a photo to the Azalea peeps, and the Azalea peeps with Nanami and all of them were like, hey, yo, producer son, you were in like a Visual K band? And he was like, don't talk about that. No, it's fine. You all don't need to do this shit. Fine. Fuck it. You all want to play your all's music? Okay. Music's a business, but you know what? We're going to make it fucking work, okay? God damn it. Maybe I'm not a terrible person. And I'm like, you know what, producer son? Maybe you're not a terrible person. Just maybe. We'll see if that iron hold of capitalism even slightly just takes its iron grip off of your heart.
And now we're caught up with me and the manga, and now I gotta go watch the anime.
And then the episode ends in my favorite way possible, where they're like, oh, hey, Eiko, they want you to go do an encore, as Kongming goes to visit her on the roof, and they talk about their time together. Eiko leaves, and then all of a sudden, the force ghost of Lu Bu appears. and Kongming is like, well. It appears that my first act of achieving world peace is at its conclusion. And he returns to the bar and just sort of leaves the force ghost of Lu Bu just chilling there.
I don't know about you, but I was like really worried if he was gonna be like, my time is done, and he just fucking vanishes. I would have been
Fujiwara no Sai.
Like, no, I mean, like Kongming fucking vanishes, and it's like, bro. Now?
No, that's what happened to Sai and Hikaru no Go. He just he's left one day. He just left. He was gone.
Oh my god. It's like, imagine Kongming, he just goes, change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Bum bling, bum 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 bum. But all in all, this first season of Kongming, I would give this a fucking solid 9. Like, actually.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think this is a show that's going to age very well just due to its own sincerity and the fact that it feels very, very inside baseball in terms of not even just like the idol industry, but just music. It talks a whole lot about music. And yeah, it's also very romanticized, obviously. Romance of the fucking Three Kingdoms. But it's just one of those things where it's just a very lovely story. And seeing that we've been getting so much fucking idol anime with shows like Healer Girl and shows like Kongming kind of just like taking that idol formula and being like, what if we just kind of actually had fun with it instead of just making fucking Love Live? And I'm like, you know what? I'm down. I'm super down for that.
Or just, different kinds of idols. It doesn't always have to be the exact same concept of an idol.
Well, they're not over romanticizing idol culture either, like in the way that like shows like Love Live do, where like everything's okay because they're idols. You know? Like this show is very raw in the way that it just kind of takes some stuff and just goes,
it's
hey,
like if you guys had watched Odd Taxi, there were some idol characters in that, and they went through some very similar stuff with like very much that idea of like we wanted to play this music, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, no, we're replacing this, we're getting rid of this girl because she can't dance, we're giving you guys masks and you have to lip sync, and like it was literally the exact same like scenario in Odd Taxi. But like I feel like not romanticizing that business and getting into the darker side of that is something that we don't see very often, and it's nice that we get to see it more now.
And with that, we now get to move into everyone's favorite segment ×2. Spy X2 family.
Spy X Family 2?
I can't believe it. We've already made it to Spy Family 2.
Spy Family 2. Just 2 Spy Family.
But episode 10 of Spy Family. Okay, this is the best episode of Dragon Ball I've ever seen.
This is pretty great, I gotta say. And I know I won't be able to, obviously, but if I was in the voice acting industry, I would literally beg to voice Bazooka Bill.
Bill Watson is the best character in fiction.
I love him. I looked at him and I said, like, that's me. That's actually me. Just
Bill Watson is peak fiction.
He's great.
So the episode starts off with Henderson getting fit, and he's like, okay, guys, we got shit to do, but you know what? I'm real happy. Everyone's acting elegant. Everyone's acting wonderful. School's going good. He hops into his homeroom, and the first thing he sees is Damien acting like a fuckhead and Anya legitimately calling him a shithead directly to his face. And so you learn that there's a dodgeball event coming up between two of the different classes, between Anya's class and another class. And then Anya's like, oh shit, apparently if you win at dodgeball, you'll get a fucking
a Stella.
Yeah, you'll get a Stella. I need to be able to win, Mom. And then yours like, yeah, okay, I can teach you how to play dodgeball. That's no different than killing people. And then Loid's like, what? And then yours like, what? And then Anya's like, what? And so then she starts training Anya. She's doing sit-ups and shit. And then she teaches Anya her secret technique, the super starlight throw. And essentially, Yor takes a volleyball and she chucks it a country mile. It probably killed somebody, but thankfully they don't show that. It does part the Red Sea, and that's pretty fucking radical. And then, after Anya's training and dying of cardio, it's time to play dodgeball.
I'm not gonna lie, with all of the working out that she does with like a trained killer, Anya's probably kind of jacked.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. You would think that
for a child.
You would think.
We'll think. I think it for a child. You know.
Okay,
I mean, she was still
Bill
strong
Watson
enough to punch.
Is in this episode.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about like she was still strong enough to punch Damien to the point where he was like flying across the room.
Oh, that was in the technique. That wasn't even the strength. You just knew how to rotate her hips well enough.
Well, yeah, but still,
there's no way this man is a child.
He's 6. So
he's not.
So what ends up happening is it's time. Anya puts on the Ryu headband and she's like, the answer lies in the heart of battle. And she's ready to go. She's ready to fuck. Damien has been training on planet Namek, known as the Tire Swing, ready to fucking go. He has been training with his two goons. They have fucking synced up team attacks.
Yeah, Crab
can't
and Ghoul
lose.
actually getting a little reliable in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crab and Ghoul, they are reliable. They have team attacks. They're ready to go. Becky's there. They
I should
can't
probably
lose.
learn these kids' names. Their names are Ewin and Emil.
Yeah.
Ewin is the one that's vertical and Emil vertical head, and Emil is the horizontal head.
So
That's how I will remember it.
gotcha. But like, you know, they got a team. They're good to go. There's no way they can lose. They have the A team. And then they go in and they're like, "Oh, did you guys hear about Bill Watson?" And they're like, "Who's Bill Watson?" And then you look over on the other team and you see this grown ass man, legitimate grown ass man. And I remembered this and I was like, "Oh, fuck. I forgot and then I remembered when they showed him that this is literally just Jonathan Joestar. It's just Jonathan Joestar.
Also, I just sent in general and I sent it to Amu. This is the kind of things way that Anya plots her victory. Like, she's such a little gremlin.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna find out what everyone's good at, and then I'm gonna cheat off of that person in that subject. That's how I win.
I
talk like dad just now. Like, she says that she's so proud of herself. Like, yeah, I'm like dad.
Yeah, I'm a genius. But so Bill Watkins, this dude's a fucking JoJo character. And I'm like, okay, he's still gonna sound like a kid, right? And then he has like the deepest fucking voice.
Just a regular ass shonen fucking voice. Like, it's great.
He literally just sounds like if Kai went like a bit into his diaphragm.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just need to voice this guy.
No, yeah, it's like literally that deep. He just sounds
Yeah.
like that. And then it flashbacks to him training his ass off. And then his dad shows up and you're hearing
He's like,
him
oh,
with
daddy.
Yeah,
Like,
daddy.
oh, daddy.
He's a man. He's a grown ass man.
No,
I mean,
it said
he still
in the
only
show-
comes up to his dad's knees. Like,
Yeah, he only goes up to his dad's knees, and in the show, there's text on screen that says he is 6.
The primary 3 protagonists of this show are all like regular liars. Who's to say that the narrator on the ground is not also a liar?
Nah, he's a truther.
nah, the narrator on the ground reminded us that this is fiction, remember?
That
He
is
knows
true.
what's up. He knows
What if-
what's up.
What if Spy Family real? what if
What
Spy
if families
Family
are real?
He
Oh my god, that'd be great.
That would be
guys. Does Loid Forger is gay?
No, he loves
No.
his wife.
He loves his wife so much,
He
man.
loves his wife so much. Lloyd Voyager not does gay is. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, then let me ask you this. Does Loid Forger is bi?
Oh, he's bi 100%.
have you seen the way he looks at Frankie? Like,
Yeah, like, he's bi.
I'm down. But so Bazooka Bill Watson, they're like, okay, he's got the ball. There's no way this guy's gonna fuck us up, right? He throws it once and takes off 4 people. And then is like, yes, when I threw the ball, I was able to make every calculation. I saw every single instance of how everyone was going to move. I'm a genius. No one can stop me. And he takes out 4 kids. And then Damien's like, I got this. I have my secret technique. And he unleashes this secret technique of his. Bill catches it, throws it, takes out 4 more people. Damien is like, okay, I got this. Shadow clone jutsu. And him and his 2 goons just start fucking dancing around each other. And he chucks the ball at Bill. Bill catches it. He's like, you think that's a shadow clone? This is a shadow clone. Chucks the ball. You can't tell what way the ball is going. And then I'm pretty sure that it's Ewan or Emil. I think it's Emil that gets fucked.
horizontal or vertical?
I'm pretty sure it's horizontal.
Emil.
It's Emil, yeah. Emil jumps in front of Damien and is like, don't worry, Damien. I know you can win this. You've done so much for me. I can't think of the things that you've done for me just now, but I know that you've done things for me. And the ball hits him directly in the face, and this kid fucking dies. And then And then Ewan runs up to him. He's like, Emil! No! You bastard! I won't let them get away with this. I promise I will. And then the ball hits him on the side of the head, and he just fucking dies. And then Watson's just like those fucking idiots. And then the only people left at this point are Damien and Anya. Becky just got hit randomly at one point because she was talking hella shit to Bill, and he just like barely taps the ball and kills her. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to take out Anya. Let's go. And he tries to throw the ball. Anya like lightly steps to like one direction. Oh, I'm going to hit her arm. She lifts her arm. I'm going to throw this ball. And then if she doesn't move, or if she tries to dodge, it's going to hit her. Throws the ball. Anya stands completely still. And it just happens to hit some dude on like the left side. And he's like, what the fuck? Why can't I hit her? And, you know, Anya's reading his mind. So it's like, there's no way you're going to be able to fucking hit her, Chief. Unless she trips. And so she trips. And so it's like, ha! Now that you've fallen down, there's no way that you can dodge from such a compromising position. Die! And he throws the ball at Anya. And then Anya's like, this is it. This is how I fucking die. Damien hops in, stops the ball in this fucking ridiculous Dragon Ball Sakuga sequence where he's just blocking it. He's like, "Argh!" And there's like all this hatching and lighting effects and wind pressure. And he's just holding this ball in place. It falls. It counts as a hit. And then Damien's like, fuck, I meant to catch it. And then Anya's like, you saved me. Maybe you're not a bad guy. And then Damien's like, no, I just tried to catch it. Fuck you. I don't like you. No. And then Anya's like, this is it. Chance or death. I can take this guy out in one hit. I just have to remember everything that my mom taught me. Twist your hips, step in, do something or other. Here we go. Starlight throw! And she throws it. It bounces off the ground in this ridiculously well animated sequence. Lands directly in front of Bill. She's still looking down. He casually picks up the ball and just kind of lightly chucks it at her. And she just sort of hits the ground. And then the game is over. And then Anya's like, I'm so sorry that I fucked it all up for everyone. And then Damien's like, yeah, you fucked it up. Why? And then she's just like, I'm sorry.
It's like, I wanted to get this Stella. And then Henry Henderson's like, there's no Stella. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, no. Like, there's no Stella. Also, Bill, that was very unelegant. You literally told another student to die. Quite literally. Bro, what the fuck?
I'm giving you a Trinitus for that.
Yeah.
And then Bill's like, just like shocked Pikachu face. Just like,
yeah. It's like, wait, the gimmick character for this one exact moment, did not win what I won?
I, the grown-ass man in first grade, like, I lost?
I want to say at this point now, shout outs to Bill Watson. Gotta be one of my favorite genders.
Good character.
Isn't there like a Drake and Josh episode on this?
Oh
Like,
my god!
where the guy's like washed up, so he like beats people. He beats like first graders in karate or something.
Oh
Like,
my god! Oh, there's also one other thing that I forgot to mention during all of this. It is my favorite fucking thing. The moment when Anya's actually getting ready to like do the wind up for the throw, there's a gust of wind that just enters the gym. And you can see leaves blowing in the breeze inside the gym. And I'm over here
They
just
had
like,
to get the camera shot in, you know?
It's so fucking funny. Oh my god. This show is incredible.
I feel like this show, the anime specifically, will go out of its way to do random panning camera shots of Anya whenever it can. Because there's another one in the episode 11 that happens when she takes a dive.
Oh god, I want to talk about that for sure.
Yeah,
that is such a fucking. They flexed for no reason on that shot. They flexed.
So from what I understand, one of the animators was actually the storyboard artist for that episode. So they actually got to like do specific movements and stuff how they wanted to. And it made for some really good directing. Like if we're gonna try kind of transition into the new episode.
Yes.
We're basically done with the first one.
Yeah.
It opens up, like Loid's looking at Anya's tests, and like all of her tests are fails, and she's watching Bond Man on TV, and he's just like, oh my god, it's like I got 20070, like terrible. But during this starting bit, it's at one point it's 5 p.m. They turn on the lights, and he's like, "You promised 5 p.m. you're going to study." She goes, "No, I don't want to study. I don't want to." And she's like flailing around. Oh god. And there's just this whole moment where they're trying to study, and there's these really intricate shots where you just see Loid, and you're just seeing like his shoulder on like the left side of the screen, while like Anya's in the background. And so he's having an entire conversation with only the one arm moving. And like you wouldn't get shots like that if you weren't the storyboard artist and the animator,
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of really nice shots like that where you wouldn't have been able to communicate that between the storyboards versus the animator unless like you were right there and you're like, I want you to do this. I want this specific acting. But like that's why like the opening of this episode, strong, extremely strong.
And then, because like it brings up to the point that you all had kind of mentioned earlier, where Anya's just like, I just fucked up on those tests. I read the wrong kid's mind for that. But don't worry, I'm gonna do some recon. I'm gonna learn what kid's mind to read where, and then eventually I'll never fail a test again. I was talking like dad just now. And so
yeah, Loid has a similar thought where he's like, oh, I could probably just get the organization to pull some strings and get her hundreds, but if I did that, everybody would hate her. So maybe I shouldn't do that. And of course, Anya realizes this, like, wait, if I read everybody's minds and get hundreds, they're gonna hate me. Oh, I don't want to do that. That's
everyone already hates me. Being Anya is actually suffering.
It's actually pain.
Fuck.
So the plan Loid's got now is like, okay, well, we're not going to get it through like academics. We're not going to get it through like physical stuff. There's only one other thing we can do to get Stellas, and that's community service. All right. So we're just going to volunteer in some places and get this out of the way so we can get a Stella.
Can we talk real quick before we move on to that though? Of when she's going through trial and error, she's like, okay, so we try art. And then Loid looks down and is like, oh man, that's a nice little cheetah that you drew there. And she just looks up at him and is like,
a moo cow.
It's a moo cow. And then Lloyd's like, maybe art's not it. Starts playing the violin, breaks every single string. Trying to do physical fitness. I mean, you can guess how the physical fitness part goes. She
like
literally lands on her face and begins crying.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, community service time. Let's go. We're gonna go to the hospital. We're gonna organize. We're gonna help clean shit. Anya fucks up everything.
Terrible at everything. Like
terrible
literally everything they tried.
Terrible at organizing in the library because she just ends up reading manga. Tries to deliver food to people and just spills it everywhere. And then she's like, don't worry, I got this. And she's like running around the hallway. She runs into the nurse, like actually like runs into her. And then she's like, we are done with your all's help. Leave. And it's like, well,
they're actually just like, your help. No, I don't want to hear. Like, you're literally being worse than useless. And they're just like, oh, okay. And then Anya's like all depressed. We find out this kid who's got like a crutch is going to the pool to go and get some like physical therapy. And Anya overhears this and is like, oh, there's a pool. Oh, I want to go swimming in the pool. And Line's like, no, you can't. It's not that kind of pool. We kind of follow this kid with the crutch a little bit, and he's like getting ready for this physical therapy. He's left off to go change, and instead of going to change, he walks around the side of the pool a bit, and he's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be the adult pool. He looks into it, he's like, oh yeah, the water's like really cold, and then he slips and he falls in, and he's just drowning.
And you get this really fucked up shot of you're seeing him basically splayed out on all fours, and you're seeing a look of sheer terror in his face. It almost looks akin to the fucking Scream. And like completely silent. He's just like, his mind's going a mile a minute, but he can't say anything. And like he's in shock. And meanwhile, his therapist is like, where'd that fucking kid go? Like, I don't see where he is. Did he bail? And then Anya's hearing all these thoughts, and she turns up to Loid and is like, Dad, there's a kid drowning. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to go to the pool. I want to get Stella's by competitive swimming, and I should go practice in the pool. Yeah! And she runs to the pool.
Dude, I gotta say, the delivery on that line, though, it was the most run-on fucking sentence. She just said the whole thing.
It's so strong.
It was so good.
Like, she does not stop talking, and then she makes it to the door where the pool is, and she's like, ha ha ha, yes, I am here to learn swimming and get better at swimming. And then she's like, where the fuck is that kid? Where the fuck is that kid? Where the fuck is that kid? And then she hears him, and is just like, and just jumps in where she sees the bubbles. And leads to easily the best shot of the episode, where it is a worm's eye view from the bottom. You're seeing it from the child's perspective of Anya jumping in, and you're seeing her in like, the only way I can describe this is it's like a fisheye lens view. And like normally for when you're seeing a character just normally, their line art is very solid and the character themselves is very solid. The storyboard artist, like what Kai said, and the animators in general made the decision where when she was in the water and you were seeing her in the water, they made her line art very wobbly, very liquid-like. And it makes for this really interesting choice of shot, combined with the fact that you're looking at her really wobbly. She's kind of wide because it's like a fisheye lens angle. It's coming from this worm's eye view. So she's big and she's getting bigger. And like, eventually she's trying to reach this kid as fast as she can. Unfortunately, she's like 4. So she's like, this is a bad idea. I can't swim fast enough. I can't bring this kid up to the surface. And then all of a sudden you just see 2 arms go in, grab them both. Turns out
I saw black gloves and I go, yeah, that's Loid.
That's our boy Loid.
That's him.
And so Loid brings them back up. He's like, oh man, I'm sure happy you saw that kid drowning, Anya. And then Anya's like, yeah, me too. And then Loid afterward, like, turns to them, and the doctors are like, wow, what happened? He wasn't calling out for help or anything. And he's like, kids drown real quiet. You need to pay attention. And I'm just like, that's morbid. That's morbid.
He's right, though.
He is right. That's still real morbid. Hearing the term children drown quiet is so... Oh, God. That puts a chill when you hear that shit the first time.
I think it's one of those phrases that, like, hearing it, like, on its own without context even, like, is still bone chilling. It's like, never worn hand-me-down baby shoes. Right? Like, there's a lot. That's only a couple words, but that tells you a lot, right?
Oh, fuck. This got real morbid real fucking quick.
We gotta morb
shit.
sometime, you know?
We did enough
all morb
morbing.
sometime.
I've done enough morbing for a lifetime. Oh, fuck. There's 4 whole videos online of me saying morbing. Not going to say what all of them are, so you're going to have to find them yourself. But at this point, everyone at Eden Academy is like, oh, shit. Anya saved a drowning kid? And so all of a sudden, you get this camera angle panning all around her, and then Lagan appears and attaches to her head.
Lagan.
And she becomes Tengen Tulpa Anya Lagan.
I remember that arc.
It's absolutely fantastic. But essentially, she gets the Stella. But I think it's just really funny because the way the Stella attaches to her is it looks like a fucking mecha sequence just attaching to her fucking uniform. Like Anya is literally a mech.
Because they knew what they were doing. They were like, "Oh, this is a big deal. It's the first Stella. We gotta do it."
No, yeah, for real. And like, so she gets the Stella. And she's super happy. She's beaming about it. She comes to school the next day and she's like, I have this Stella. I'm a big shot now. And then Becky comes up to her and is like, Anya, good morning. And she's like, I'm no longer Anya. You are to refer to me as Starlight Anya. And then Becky's like, okay, Starlight Anya. And so they go to class and she's like, Anya, we're going to be late for class. We need to go. Starlight Anya. Oh, yeah, okay, let's go. And they just go. And then it goes into class, and then all of the kids are just thinking mad shit, where everyone's like, man, she must have faked getting that Stella. She's actually wearing that badge to school. Cringe. And like, they're just thinking all this mad shit. And then
I think most of the issue was because like you already got it. Why are you wearing it like right now?
Part of it is that, but also part of it was like, they were like, oh, she's poor. There's no way she got that. Or there's some people being like, oh, her parents must have paid for her to get that Stella. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a lot of the kids talking shit. Anya has to hear all of it. She kind of just starts crying to herself. And then Damien's like, do you all seriously believe that our school is stupid enough to give away an undeserved Stella? Wow, your all standards are in the trash. You must think really lowly of our fucking school. And that shuts up everyone. And then Anya's like, maybe Damien's not absolutely terrible. And then that's when Damien thinks to himself and is like, yeah, that's actually the reason why I'm so mad that she got it, because I know for a fact she got it and she deserved it, but I don't know how she did it before me. And so he's pissed. And then Anya feels pretty good for like the rest of the day.
Oh my god! I remember just thinking about like that as a detail of like he's mad being not being the first one in his class to get a Stella, because 100% that could have been in with his dad to like get some respect.
Yeah, well, also like his brother is in the Imperial Scholars, so maybe he feels like it's his birthright to be there.
Yeah, he knows he needs to be there, but it's like I should be excelling and get there first because like that's the only way I'm going to like pass my brother's legacy.
It's partly that.
Stop being the second son.
It's partly that, but also with the environment that he's being raised in, it's incredibly competitive, and he is being raised from the get-go to take over a company. He is being raised to be cutthroat. He's being raised, being told that he is better than everyone else. And he has all of these thoughts indoctrined into him, and he has to like prove it to himself that it's really real. But the thing is, when you are surrounded by your peers and you see someone doing better than you, instead of seeing that as, oh, good job to that person, you always end up seeing it as, I should have done better. I should have been able to get there before they did. And it eats away at you. I used to be that way when I was a kid. I used to be that way for a very, very, very long time. I was never able to be happy for anyone for doing well because I was too worried about, why aren't I there yet? Why didn't I get that? It's bullshit. I should be better than this. And it's such a toxic mindset. And that's one reason why I'm really looking forward to seeing more of what Damien does and how he either challenges that or gets consumed by it. Because either way, that's going to be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And then, though, we get another good part in this episode that I like to call the Anya Theater, where she's thinking to herself, oh, I got this Stella. Oh, shit. That means I'm going to be able to... Oh, yo, Damien, I have this Stella. We should be friends. And then Damien, in her head, as she is voicing Damien, is just like, ho, Anya, yes, you should be able to come to my house. And also your dad can come and see my dad. And then it goes to Loid talking to Anya, except he is still being voiced by Anya, where he's like, ho, good job, Anya. The mission is a success. And it cuts to this shitty cartoon drawing of all of them together with this shitty crayon drawing of the Earth that just says world peace. And she's like, I got it. Let's go. And then Damien's just like, fuck you. And then she's like, world peace is in jeopardy. And then you get another one where she's talking to Becky. And Becky is like, oh, hey, are you going to have your parents get you anything for you getting that Stella? And she's like, you get things? And she's like, yeah, I did really well on a test and I get a bunch of cool things. Like I got this like really nice dress and a tiara. I get all this stuff. And like one of the things that she got was apparently this pretty pink tank. And then Anya's like, whoa, can I get a castle? And she's like, I think that's a little too much. And then she's like, what's the favorite thing that you've got?
I think a tank is a little much.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I also think a tank is a little much. However, if I were 6 and I were given a tank, I think that'd be sick. Personally, I don't know what I would use it for. I'm assuming they would remove the engine so that I don't get into any actual carnage. But, you know, it'd be nice to have a tank.
I think Anya goes on to be like, oh, I want peanuts. And then Becky's like, that's way too little. And she's like, okay, a year's worth of peanuts. She's like, okay, yeah, no, that's a bit better.
Yeah, she's like, I want a year's worth of peanuts. And she's like, I still think you're thinking a little too inside the box. And then
Anya
Anya
into the topics of talking about dogs.
Yes, because Anya asks Becky, what's the favorite thing that you've gotten then? And she's like, oh, it's my little I forget the name of the dog, but she's like, oh, my little dog. And then Anya's like, oh, Damien, do you have a dog? And then he starts thinking about his dog, which is like this really big doggo. He's like, I love you so much. And then Damien's like, fuck off. And then all of a sudden, in Anya's mind, we get Anya Forger Theater Part 2 of her being like, Father, I wish to have a dog. Ho, 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 Damien, I have this dog. Isn't he brilliant? Damien, yes, Anya, this dog is brilliant. I think that our dogs could be friends over at my house. By the way, your dad can come. And then it cuts back to Loid being like, ho, 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 Anya, the mission is a success. World peace.
Well, I think the funny thing about this one was we also got the first unofficial voice of Donovan Desmond.
Yes, that's right.
Because he shows up and then Anya just talks for him.
Yeah, that's right. Donovan Desmond shows up and he's like, oh, hello, Loid Forger. And Loid Forger is just like, hello, Donovan Desmond. I think war is a bad idea. World peace.
Yeah.
God, thank you for reminding me. It's even better than what I remembered. And then Anya's like, I'm a genius. Mom, Dad, let me get a dog. And they're like, oh, okay. And then of course, we get the fucked up part of Loid being like, if we get a big dog, we could use that as a guard dog. Yeah, and he'd be able to fuck up shit. And then yours like, oh, if we get a big dog, that means it could eat Anya, and that would be really brutal. And then Anya's like, can we get a small dog? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then it just cuts to this thought that Yor has of a small dog with a knife just cutting Anya's throat. And I'm over here just like, what is Rapide doing here? Oh,
but imagine if there was a scene where the Taco Bell Chihuahua showed up and just started raising heads. You know what I mean?
I can't believe Anya's is going to adopt Koromaru.
Oh my god.
Good.
Oh fuck. Like knife dog is easily like dogs wielding weapons is like my favorite thing. Rapide's great. Dog with knife is great. The fucking dog in Dark Souls that wields the giant sword. Oh my god. Like dog with weapon is my favorite thing. It is up there with crab with a kitchen knife. Crab with kitchen knife is so good. And then the episode ends though, where you're in a dog kennel and there's just a bunch of these like dogs where they're just like, oh, these are shitty strays. We're gonna use them for bomb dogs, whatever. Come on, shut up, or you're not gonna get fed. And these guys are just like feeding everyone. And then in the back, see this big fluffy white dog. He's just there. And he's just like, oh, I randomly cut to a shot of Anya and Yor and Loid. And I'm just like, oh, that's weird. Hey, I'm sad and whatnot. And it just ends where you just get
anyway,
this big
episode
white dog.
preview, filler episode next week.
Nah, it's not gonna be a filler episode.
It's the Penguin Park.
Yeah, that's a setup.
Oh, it is? Okay.
That's a setup. You say that's filler? Wrong.
Well, okay, I just saw that like there's the thing of Penguin Park in the manga because I got the first 2 volumes and it ends with that volume 2. But it felt like the way it was in that volume to me when I skimmed it felt like it was like a little like after manga gag thing.
No. This is actual setup. This is the next 2 episodes because these next 2 episodes are the last 2 episodes.
Okay, so these episodes are where do we get the dog or does the dog still not show up?
We are going. We're getting
the dog. Yeah,
okay.
we're getting the dog, and then the anime is taking a break.
Yeah, we're gonna get Bond. Spoilers. His name is Bond, and then break time. I need it. I need my boy, my doggle. Oh, I want to go downstairs and pet my cat now. Have I told you all about my cat? I love my cat.
We opened up the last episode with your cat.
Have I told you all about my cat? I really love my cat. Amu, can you put up a picture of my cat? I'll send you another picture of my cat. Put him up right here, and then put up another one like right here, and then put up another one like right here. I will send you 3 different pictures of my cat. His name's Julius. I love him to death. He's everything that I've ever hoped for.
Amu, every time you have a picture, you need to like slowly have it rotate as like other pictures are showing up.
Oh my god. I'm only giving him 3 pictures.
Yeah. So I'm saying you have one, and then it rotates, and it keeps rotating. The second one shows up, and it's rotating now, and they're all rotating. The third one shows up, and it's rotating. That's what he needs to do.
If it doesn't take too long, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if it doesn't take too long, go for it. I will send you the pictures, so that way you're not gonna have to go searching on my Twitter. But
if not, all we need is 3 photos.
Yeah.
That is true. Just 3 photos of just nondescript cats.
Yeah, don't even show Julius. Just have
no,
3
you
cats.
show Julius, or I will be really sad. I love my cat. He's great. So that's Spy Family, and getting to see 2 episodes back to back was actually really fucking refreshing. Because oh my god, that was the dopamine that my brain needed. I keep forgetting that like I have to sit down to watch anime, and it's really hard to sit down to want to watch something because I'm like, oh, I'm not working on stuff. And then I sit down to watch it, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Brain need good thing in order to keep working. Huh. What about that? So anywho, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen episode 22, The Origin of Obedience, aired on March 13th, 2021 and April 30th, 2021 in the US. It's adapted from chapters 55 and 56. This is the third to last episode before the season ends. So these next 3 episodes are part of like the same like mini arc that they're in, and the episodes focus on giving a task to Yuji, Nobara, and Fushiguro and having them complete it without a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, and it's really, really rad how we happen to pick a format of 3 episodes at a time that just kind of happened to work out, where it's like right at the end, we got to end with this nice little mini arc before we hopefully get to watch Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Hopefully next week. We're going to work out what we're going to be doing still. But essentially, episode opens up with like this Yakuza guy just getting murked by a demon. And everyone's like, oh, shit. So like there's been like 3 people that just died. And we don't know what exactly is going on. So they send in Itadori and the gang to find out what's going on. Also, the person that is watching over them is this woman named Nita. She is blonde, but you can tell it's been like dyed because like the roots are showing underneath and they're not like a nice dark brown. I love her. She's my favorite kind of adult because she is completely willing to say when something's a fucking ass ache. And the first moment she has to push the workload on someone else, she will do it. She's completely irresponsible, shitty, but she's got it when it counts, and I love her. She's also very cute. It took me like 3 episodes to find out what her name was.
Yeah, you were digging through the episode. You couldn't just Google it.
You were literally sitting there like, oh my god, I love this girl. And it's like, what's her name? I don't know her name.
So, I hate that. I fucking hate that when I run into a character where I'm like, I love them, but I don't know their name.
I don't know who they are.
Who is she? I don't know.
So they end up taking a trip to this middle school. And the first thing that happens is they run into these two delinquents. And then Nobara's like, oh, look, it's a couple of delinquents. We can kick the shit out of them. And then the delinquents are like, good. And then they look up and they see Fushiguro and they're like, oh, hello, sir. How's it going, man? And then everyone's like, oh, it looks like they respect us. Yeah. And then they turn to Fushiguro and they end up learning because a teacher just walked out. They're just like, oh, hey, yo, Fushiguro, you came back. And it turns out that this was Fushiguro's old middle school. And he used to be a punk. And he was essentially the leader of the punks. And he doesn't want to admit it. And he doesn't want to talk about it. And like Itadori and Nobara are just like tormenting this kid. They are absolutely roasting this kid. I don't know how the fuck these two get away with doing this to Fushiguro.
What was he gonna do? Kill him?
He's definitely not gonna kill him. He's too much of a twink.
And these guys are two like ass kickers, you know what I mean? Like they kick at this point, they both kick so much ass, and Fushiguro is just so passive with the way that he does stuff that there's that like there's no way that he can really like retaliate.
For real. And so from there, they learned that like 4 different kids had been taken from the middle school. So other than the first 3 that they had, there were actually a lot more casualties than they had originally thought. And so the gang leaves and we cut to a shot of Mahito with some fetuses in a jar. And it's like, oh, those are weird demon fetuses, all right. And then there's this dude who's just like, I can't say strapped, he's like nailed to the wall by his hands. It's like the Passion of the Christ, but anime. And he's just like, oh God, I can't see anything. I don't know what the fuck's happening. And Mahito's like, that's cool. Could you eat this fetus? And so they force feed him a fetus. And he turns into a cursed spirit. And he's real fucking hideous looking. It's like a chimera with like huge teeth. And you can still kind of see his face, but it looks a lot more advanced than like the shit that Mahito had made previously. It can actually like communicate and stuff. So it's showing that they've got some shit on their hands, and they kind of explain what it is a little later. So from there, we cut back to Itadori and the gang at a convenience store with a gigantic sign that says, "We got pounded fish cakes now, baby. Let's go."
Pounded fish cakes are back.
Pounded fish cakes are back. Huge.
Let's go.
The recession is over. We got pounded fish cakes. These fish cakes, pounded, rounded, mounded in your gut. Let's go. Pounded
These fish cakes just like VEGETA.
Just like VEGETA.
I'm going home.
Pounded. But so they got a bunch of food at the convenience store. And then one of the punks that they had gotten at the middle school shows up at the store with his sister. And the sister asks them, hey, did you all happen to go to the bridge? And they're like, no, but could you tell us what happened? And she's like, ever since I've been to the bridge, the shop has been kind of fucked lately. Every time I go, the automatic doors are always open and I feel like someone's watching me. And you then learn that there's essentially a demon at that bridge. And Fushiguro's sister was cursed by the demon whose domain resides on that bridge. And because of that, she is essentially like on and off comatose when the curse is active. And the curse can be active and like kill her at like any time. So he is on essentially a ticking time limit of he needs to go and exercise the curse that is at the bridge or his sister is very likely going to die. And so he has a personal stake in this, but they know for a fact that there are so many strong demons at the bridge right now, or so many strong curses, that they're like, oh shit, great. All we have are grade 2 sorcerers. We don't have the people that can actually cover this. And Gojo's not going to be back for a week. But by the time Gojo gets back, people are going to be dead. So Fushiguro is like, look, we can't handle this. You all need to leave. I'll leave as soon as I say goodbye to my friend. So Fushiguro does not say goodbye to his friend and instead goes under the bridge by himself. And he's like given this really big monologue about like how you're supposed to enter from like underneath a domain.
So let's do it like this. So I'll be Fushiguro and you be everybody else. So I'm like, there's no time. I need to save my sister. I can't wait for Gojo. The responsibility is too great, but it's one that I must bear.
You know you can talk to us, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, literally, Nobara and Itadori just show up in frame.
The camera angle changes from a zoom in on Fushiguro, and it's just Nobara and Itadori standing there like they went with him, you know?
Yeah, they just follow.
They're literally like, dude, if you haven't seen us until now, you're like really out of it.
Yeah, Nobara says that. She's like, you're wigging. you're tripping, dog. Like you gotta relax, dog.
And then they do this really,
they find a river.
Yeah.
And they've all take a step at the exact same time, which is apparently a metaphor for crossing the river Styx that Jujutsu sorcerers use to enter temporary domains.
It's so cool. It's so metal. And then they cross the river. There's like this effect with like lightning and everything. It's this really cool worm's eye view. And then all of a sudden they enter the domain and you're just seeing these whack-a-mole looking motherfuckers just coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and like some Bleach theme is playing in the background. Like it's very like heinously this is an anime moment, you know?
Moments like this are why anime was invented. And then it ends off with a short little skit scene of them going to a Chinese restaurant. And then this woman gives her life story. And it's like so sad. And everyone's like just listening to her. And then they just leave. And they're like, man, veggie gyoza sucks. And I'm like, no, you guys suck. Veggie gyoza is great.
I wish that there wasn't always pork gyoza everywhere. I wish that there was like another meat, you know?
Chicken gyoza is relatively common.
Yeah. I've never had chicken gyoza before. Everywhere I go is pork, and like I'm sick of it, you know?
Yeah, I know that the
chicken gyoza sounds tight.
The places around here, I've always seen them have the option for chicken gyoza.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, that's episode 22.
All right, so Jujutsu Kaisen episode 23. It is called The Origin of Obedience Part 2. Whoa. This is my favorite episode of the show, by the way. By a pretty solid margin.
I'm assuming it is because this is the episode where your boy actually does something.
Yeah, Fushiguro finally decides to be useful.
Fushiguro does something.
He gets to do something finally. So he's not going to be a jobber.
They spent the entire last episode building up Fushiguro's tension to like give him stakes in this race.
Yes.
And make us also simultaneously care about Fushiguro's stakes in that race. This episode is a showcase of what you do with a character when you have no idea how to make them stronger when they should be way stronger than you've already been portraying them.
But before we get to that, Itadori! Holy fuck! The choreo, the camera work in this fucking episode. There's literally a point where Itadori is going up to this cursed guy, which is the same guy that was fed the fetus, and he's going in. And then he like flips over to the other side. He reverse kicks him. Like he's doing all of this sick shit. And like fucking Nobara's doing all of this sick shit. Like everyone is doing cool shit. Nobara and fucking Fushiguro are playing the most dynamic shonen game of whack-a-mole that I've ever seen. Oh, fuck.
There's a lot of really good sequences of Fushiguro wielding a sword.
Yes,
they're
he's
all
using like this
fantastic.
big broadsword.
Yeah. There's a lot of really
Oh.
nice movements with just like the way they like trail the blade. It reminded me a little bit of Sword of the Stranger in a weird way.
And then essentially what ends up happening is the big demon guy. Or actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself here. What ends up happening is like there's a portal that opens, but Fushiguro doesn't notice it. And then he turns around and Obara is getting dragged into a portal again. She's really bad about getting dragged into portals. It seems to be her one weakness. And so she's getting dragged in, and then she's like, dude, don't worry about it. You got this. You keep fighting. And then Itadori comes up after the guy he's fighting, runs into that portal too. And then Itadori is like, oh, fuck, what do I do? And then Fushiguro's like, go in there, you fucking idiot. He's like, what about you? I'll be good, chief. Okay. And so Itadori just kind of goes through the portal. And then Fushiguro is left in there alone. And he essentially finishes off the rest of the whack-a-mole shit. Except there's one left. And it cuts to this shot of Fushiguro's eye. And it looks very melancholy. And he's just like, well, I guess that's everything. But like, why isn't the domain gone? I don't understand. And so he looks up and he sees one left. It's this giant pod. And then the pod opens up and you see what is essentially a human figure kind of pop out of it. And then you get a good look at its face. And it's essentially the same demon they had to fight in the prison in terms of its appearance. So it's like, oh, he's gone from playing whack-a-mole and doing maintenance to fighting a special grade curse. And so Fushiguro is like, well, I can either try to run away or I can sacrifice my life to kill this guy. And then we get this really interesting flashback of after he gets absolutely mobbed up, gets fucked up, and passes out. As we all do when we all are, I'm sure the last time one of you two and myself have entered near-death experiences, we always flash back to our days in middle school when we were punks.
And when we were like gaslit by Satoru Gojo, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
gaslit by Satoru Gojo.
I remember when I was gaslit by Satoru Gojo. It
I
was
dream
episode
about
1
my
of Jujutsu
time as
Kaisen.
Itadori Yuji's best friend.
Wait,
Yeah.
Where were you gaslit by Satoru Gojo? For me, it was in Tampa, Florida.
Hilarious, because for me it was in Kentucky.
Damn.
Crazy how that works.
Fuck.
Small world, I know.
What about you, Kai?
I don't know. Honestly, I think I was in his domain. I don't know where I was.
Oh my god, so you were just experiencing ego death.
Yeah, I was just dying.
So,
He was quite literally gaslighting me.
yo, get gaslit, nerd. Fuck. But essentially, he gets this memory of his sister just being very much cold towards him because he beat up a bunch of people and he kind of just didn't care about what anyone really thought of him. And then you cut to this memory of Gojo where he's fighting Gojo and it's after the school festival and such. And then while he's fighting with Gojo, Gojo's like, look, I get it. You think you're being real honorable by going into fights that you don't think you can win and being like, I'm going to sacrifice myself so that if I die, we win. That's not the mindset you need to be going in with, kid. The mindset that you need is you don't need to be afraid to risk your life, but risking your life and choosing to die are two very different things. And you need to get that under control. You need to get that in your stupid head. And so Fushiguro says, you know what? Fuck it. And he has the biggest shit-eating grin, completely covered in blood from head to toe. And he says something I was not expecting whatsoever. He puts his hands together and he's like, domain expansion. And
then he starts bleeding out of his face, like every orifice of his entire face.
Yeah, he starts super bleeding.
Oh my god! And then what's the thing he says? He's like, "Oh, all I have to do is picture myself being as good as I can be. Fine, I'll do that."
Yeah, pretty much. It's all bullshit. It's all just self-confidence bullshit. But it doesn't matter. It lets him hold out long enough in the domain to where he is absolutely fucking destroying this
He's
guy.
going in. He's just like, he's bleeding. He's got the biggest fucking like deranged smile on his face. Like, okay, little anecdote here. Lana keeps bringing up the fact that like only monsters may cross this line or whatever. This is what I picture I have to do in order to be a monster. Am I correct?
True. Yeah. That is true. Yeah. Like, so Megumi Fushiguro said to himself, hey, you know what? I'm not strong enough to beat this guy, but I'm going to imagine how strong I need to beat this guy, and I'm going to bleed out of my eyes until I'm that strong. Let's try it. And it worked. Like, it shouldn't have, but like, it did. And
he was in his domain. It had to.
And usually,
all the attacks hit.
Usually this is the point where I would complain. So like usually when a character does something like that, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cringe. Like they didn't earn that like victory there. But like with Fushiguro, like I feel like he paid his dues, you know? And like I feel like the writers were doing him kind of dirty by making him kind of lose all the time when he's definitely like the third strongest student.
So I'll say right now that straight up, they have written him in all of his fights in such a way where he has had power that he has chosen not to use.
Yeah.
Like, it is not one of these things where it is something that has come out of nowhere. It's not Gohan being like, I'm angry, so I'm really powerful now, you know? It doesn't feel like that. It feels more along the lines of, this is shit we've always known was there. He has just chosen not to use it. And he has had moments where he has almost used it. And then they're like, hold up, don't do that. It's like the stupid gun in Ruby.
Yeah. They even call back to those moments with Sukuna showing up in a flashback because Sukuna thinks that Fushiguro is interesting.
Yeah. And it's like very much the point where it's like, I think that, again, the closest thing I could compare it to is the fucking briefcase in Ruby.
I was gonna say it's like a certain someone refusing to use burst in Guilty Gear.
Shuten Dragoon, if you happen to see this,
I'm calling you out, man.
I'm sorry.
Let's face it, you'll never be good until you use burst.
Shut the fuck up. No.
You think that if you just ignored an entire mechanic of a game, you could be better than the best player in the game?
So yes, actually.
Yeah, I have never Roman canceled.
I have seen it in fucking Killer Instinct. There's a Japanese player that never combo breaks. And he gets into people's heads. It is incredible. But essentially,
we get to see these scenes where like Fushiguro is his domain expansion basically like makes it possible for what was like a big problem with his chimeras, which are like which like are like the animals and stuff that he summons, his shikigamis or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
The problem with a lot of them is that they can never fucking hit anything and that they usually just get bodied. But because they're in a domain expansion, he's able to hit all of his attacks. So he guarantees all of this free damage on this guy who's stronger than him, and he's able to make like these like goo clones to like let like substitution jutsu him away from his opponents.
Yes.
So he does like a significant amount of damage before the domain drops. And then because of his wolf's ability to do damage to special grade curses, he was able to finish off this guy in a very sparkly fashion.
Oh yeah, he fucks this guy up, and then he's like, I did it. I win. And then he passes out, and he gets a dream where everyone's making fun of him, and he's in the Naruto circle.
Yeah, he is in the Naruto circle.
Yeah, it just turns out the Fushiguro's just another Naruto.
Yeah.
Fushiguro is literally... We thought he was Sasuke. Then I said he was Trunks. I was wrong. He's actually just Naruto.
So he takes like the thing that Sasuke took from Naruto, where they're like both misunderstood by the people that they're associated with.
Yes.
But he takes it to like an extreme, as if like they took that out of Naruto and put it into Sasuke twice.
Oh my god.
Because it makes Fushiguro into this doom-scrolling, stoic, quiet, soft-spoken boy that like can't get out of his own head. So like at least he doesn't have a foot up his ass the way Sasuke does, but it does make him like Sasuke squared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that as long as he doesn't do some weird stuff where he's like doing vengeance in the name of his brother who didn't want that vengeance. So yeah, that was the Fushiguro arc. He wakes up and like he talks to himself about like how he needs to get that finger. He needs to tell Itadori about that finger and yada yada. But like really, it's just at this point we leave Fushiguro to his vices and we head over to Nobara and Itadori, who are still fighting these now two dudes because Nobara got pulled away by another one.
Yeah, Nobara gets pulled away, and this guy introduces himself. He's like super duper flamboyant, and he's literally a fucking pillar man.
Yeah, he looks like a pillar man.
They got Nobuyuki Hiyama to do him, and I'm just like, oh my god.
He acts like a pillar man. He does
great,
all the poses like a pillar man. His body morphs in the way a pillar man's would. Like it's very.
His ability is literally cheap trick if you could weaponize it.
And it's really fucking funny because he's like, well, my sweetie, if you see my back, well, you're going to be the one that dies. And then all of a sudden you see Itadori and the other guy show up and like right behind him. And then Itadori's like, sup. And then the other demon's like, big bro. And he's like, you just saw my back.
And then his little brother's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, I really didn't, please don't kill me.
And so he fires off all of this like acid blood over in Itadori's general direction, who just like dodges all of it because it's Ita fucking Dori, and that's just what he does.
Like, how are you gonna
to
hit
quote
that guy?
Nick during that moment, poison blood darts are pretty good.
Poison blood darts are fucking metal. They're so fucking metal. Acid blood is the most metal fucking shit. And then that's essentially where the episode ends, where it's setting up a 2v2 situation between Itadori and Nobara and the two cursed spirit brothers. And then we get to see what has been my favorite of the little like after credits gags, where Itadori runs up to Gojo and Nobara and he's like, guys, someone's hitting on Fushiguro, and they start Naruto running to where he is.
So Itadori is half Naruto running, like one of his arms is back and one of them is running normally. Gojo is just running. Nobara is dead ass just Naruto running.
It's so fucking funny. And so they get there and they immediately start fucking with Fushiguro, being like, no, Fushiguro, what about all the time we spent together? Fushiguro-san, I thought you loved me. And then Gojo's like, hey, Fushiguro, you need to come back to my place and I need to teach you how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the violin. Come on. You know the time we spent together is precious to me. Don't waste it here. And then he's like, so hey, the station's that way. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then she just fucking leaves. And I'm like, this is literally a joke that was in the daily lives of high school boys. Just straight lifted. And I love it.
Well, a couple episodes ago, they did say they were running out of ideas.
No, you see, I feel like this is just I feel like at this point, with that joke being set up the way that it was, I feel like this might actually be an occurrence that happens in Japan. Oh, fuck. But in general, Fushiguro just turns to them being like, could you guys fucking stop embarrassing me? And then Gojo's like, whatever. I'm Gojo. You can't fuck with me.
Yeah, Fushiguro is getting tired of being embarrassed. He doesn't like these people, but he hates that they're so annoying.
And then it's time for episode 24.
Oh.
The season finale of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, Episode 24, Accomplices, aired on March 27th, 2021 and May 14th, 2021.
So
It is the final episode of what is called the Death Painting arc.
I will say right now, this is my favorite episode of Jujutsu Kaisen.
It's pretty hard.
There was really good stuff in it, I gotta say.
This episode went pretty hard for no reason.
So, off the bat, acid blood bullets are going everywhere, and Itadori and Nobara are forced to run away from the guy with a face on his back as they are just essentially machine gunning acid blood at them. Nobara trips and Itadori has to pick her up. And then from there, they're just like, well, fuck, I don't have time to set you back down. And so he just puts Nobara on his back. And so I immediately make the joke of just like, oh, that's a fucking mounted Nobara turret. And so Nobara is just like, you should go full speed. And Itadori's like, I can go full speed? Okay. And he just zooms. And then
And that scares the shit out of Nobara.
Nobara's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Well, like it's worth mentioning right before she tripped, he asked her, like, can you run any faster? And she's like, no, I can't. And it's like, oh, okay. Like knowing that like he could run that fast the entire time. He's like, well, I'm carrying you now. I guess I can do it.
Yeah, and this motherfucker runs through an entire forest. He runs so fast that when it comes time to stop, he impacts and dents a fucking guardrail with his ass.
And that shot is so good, by the way. That entire sequence of him hitting that railing.
Oh,
Jay
my
just slams
God.
into it and they both roll to the ground.
Yeah.
It's so fucking metal. And then what ends up happening is immediately they both get splashed with acid blood because it turns out that one of the brothers had cut them off at the pass, and then the other one just, caught up with them. And so they get splashed with blood, and they're like, ho, 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 you have fallen into our trap, our ninjutsu. And then all of a sudden, on both on both Nobara and Itadori, you see curse marks appear. And then Orochimaru comes out of the tunnel.
He goes, my vessel. Yuji Itadori, I mean Sasuke.
Yuji Sasuke Dori. And it's just like, no, but what ends up happening is they get these like marks on their fucking arms and faces. And the Curse Brother is just like, oh, hey, so you're just going to start rotting from the inside out? I give the kid 10 minutes and the girl, she's got like 10. I give the kid like 15. The girl's got like 10 minutes at best. Have fun rotting. And then she's like, wait. Nobara's like, your blood's inside me? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, sick. And she starts hammering nails into her arm because her whole power is if you have any trace near her that is connected to you, such as hair or skin or whatever, if she hits it with her curse technique, it just deals indirect damage to you. And so because the blood is inside of her, she's just like, well, okay, and just hammers nails into her arm, and it's just causing both of them immense pain. And they're just like, well, we just gotta wait this out, and she won't be able to do anything. And it's not like they can move anyway. And then all of a sudden you just see Itadori running around, and he starts kicking the little brother's ass. And everyone's like, wait, what the fuck? How can he move? And then Nobara looks at him and is just like, bro, he's been poisoned a fuck ton already. Do you think poison can stop an idiot?
Well, no, it's because Sukuna is the
Sukuna.
god of poison.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So he's
Sukuna's the
just
god of
immune
poison.
to poison
Yeah,
specifically.
he's immune to poison.
I
He's got
forgot that
poison
Sukuna
immunity.
was the god of poison. I actually forgot
Yeah.
about that.
He's the demon of poison and like something, like deals or something. It's,
Yeah, so like literally it was like, oh, you lost the matchup. Like he just has resistance to poison.
You
He's
ever just
fine.
lose at character select?
yeah, you just got to get out of there.
And then, so Itadori starts beating on the little brother. The impact shot of when he lands that first punch is just like, oh! And then he starts Dempsey rolling this motherfucker. Just bam,
Legitimately
bam,
Dempsey
bam.
rolling.
Yeah, he
goes
was
the
just
fuck
swinging back
in.
and forth like a pendulum, just swinging on this guy as hard as he could. He was like, well, if I start killing one of them, Nobara can kill them while I beat the shit out of the other guy.
And oh my fucking god. And then Itadori just starts going all over the place. They do something that drives me absolutely nuts in the best way. They are timing some black frames in beat with this vocal insert song, which is this metal fucking shit. And it's so nuts. There's this scene where Itadori is just like trying to hit one of these motherfuckers as they're barely dodging, and he is slamming his fist into walls as they are rolling against the fucking walls. And like the 3D camera movement is so nice. And there's this ridiculously good comp shot between him and Nobara where they're just like posing together as they're giving simultaneous attacks to different enemies.
Yeah, it hit like the song that they made for that scene, like it hit the chorus of that song is like it was doing this rotoscope spin on Itadori beating the shit out of this guy. And then they both hit the black flash.
Oh my god,
yeah. It was beautiful. Oh my god, Nobara's black flash was insane.
So Nobara hit the black flash.
Oh my god! And Nobara, I want to give this the also a little bit of attention. Is that Nobara's face during all of this is like So Itadori, I feel, in terms of all of our cast, generally tends to look the most underanged, if that makes sense.
Because Fushiguro, whenever he gets serious, he starts to look like a serial killer.
Yeah, but then
Nobara, when she breathes, looks like a serial killer.
Nobara, when she's breathing, looks like a serial killer. And then when she gets serious, it's like, holy fuck. How do people hate this character?
Because she looks like a serial killer.
She's great!
Well, I know the reason. It's not a good reason. But like, that's what it is.
No, I know. And then, so they end up basically killing the little brother. And he doesn't disappear. And then that's when they realize, oh, this is one of those fucked up chimera curses. And the big brother essentially has his arm ripped off. And he's like, okay, I'm out of here. You killed my brother and I'm sad. There's a trucker.
And Itadori does apologize too. Like, he does feel bad.
It's wild. And then there's this truck that just drives by them. And it's just like, crazy kids! And then the guy vanishes and just appears in the truck bed. And it's just like, look, you're going to get me out of here. If you press the brakes, you die. And Itadori's chasing the truck.
He is running after the truck.
Actually keeping up with the truck.
I believe Itadori can run at 40 miles an hour. If he
I
can
do too.
Slam in, I would need to get the math done on how much speed he would have to have had for his back to damage that grate, guardrail or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It had to have been over 100 miles an hour.
I feel like
his body's not very big.
With Itadori, it's like they go from the start that even without Sukuna, he was kind of a superhuman monster, and they don't even explain it. And that's, I feel, the best part about Itadori is that even if Sukuna wasn't there and he didn't have all of the Jujutsu bullshit, he could still probably chase down that truck.
And they explain that pretty quickly. It's like a foil to when Naruto, because Naruto has like the most chakra in the world, even without Kurama.
Yes. So
like that's Itadori's thing. They got that out of the way real fast. They were like, yeah, he's not possessed by anything, but he's kind of an ass kicker.
He's just really swole.
Yeah, he kind of just can kill people with his bare fucking hands if he really wanted to. And then they gave him superpowers, and then it was like, now he can kill anything with his bare hand, anything in the world with his bare hands.
Fucked up.
Anything you say.
Anything.
Literally anything.
He could have killed Mahito. If he had Black Flash when he fought Mahito, that guy was dead.
That guy was hella dead, straight up. But so the brother is like, oh, you better stop chasing after me. I'm gonna kill this rando trucker dude. And rando trucker dude's just like, I don't know what's going on, man. I wasn't even supposed to be here today. And then, you know how I mentioned he got his arm blown off, and that's when Nobara's just like, oh, but what if I jammed this nail into your arm? And then Curse Guy's like, you what? Ah! And so he starts exploding, essentially. He falls off the truck. Itadori punches him in the gut as hard as he can with the strongest black flash he can muster, and then just says, I'm sorry. And then this dude fucking explodes and dies. And so that basically finishes up that fight. And it essentially leads to a quick cut to Mahito and the gang playing Life. And there's a third brother. And the third brother's like, oh, hey, guys, my bros just died. What?
Yeah, because there's 3 of the fetuses, and there's a third one there.
There's a third one. And then he feels that the other 2 just died. And then they get a text message being like, oh, yeah, your brothers just died. And he's like, yeah, I'm mad. And then that's basically just that scene is just Mahito being baby, being like, I want to play Life. Don't crush my game pieces just because your brother died, asshole. And meanwhile, Mahito's just giving the best faces. He's literally like, I don't want to call him being baby because he's a ruthless serial killer, but he was literally being baby. And then we get this really cool scene of just Nobara and Itadori just kind of walking. And Itadori is talking to her, being like, so was that your first time like killing someone? And she's like, I mean, doing something like this is nothing to me. She kind of avoids the question to a point where she isn't saying whether or not it's the first time she's really killed something. But he's talking about how that's like the 4th or 5th time he has done it at this point, and he doesn't feel good about it. And she's like, well, think of it this way. I only have so many seats in my head, and I'm only really going to be moved by someone if they're a person that has the wherewithal to take a seat in my head. If they don't have a seat in there, then it's going to be really hard for me to really care about them, you know? And like part of that, I think, is actually a pretty strong way to kind of think about things in terms of you really shouldn't let like every small little thing try to like bog you down when something like that happens. But then there's the alternate reading of you could also kind of see that as a little too uncaring depending on what you're doing, especially with this kind of context. So I'm over here thinking, what kind of person is Nobara at that point?
Well, she's also currently living in a life where she only has so many people that are going to be there when she dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she can't sit here. Like she watched Itadori die and come back. People don't usually do that.
Normally.
Like, did you see how she was when Itadori died? She had to find like a new purpose to be able to deal with that, because that was like a large amount of grief, and she only knew him for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And she let him take a seat because she felt like he was important. Like, and like the same thing would probably happen now. Like, she cares about this person, so like if that person goes, it's going to be devastating. But she can't take the time right now with the responsibilities that she has to care about Joe Schmo in the like down the street who she's never spoken to before.
Yes.
Some people don't have that kind of ability to bear the burden of the world. So they try and bear the burden of as many people as possible. Nobara gave me a lot of insight on like how I want to write a character of mine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes the weight of the world is too great, so you need to do everything you can for as many people as you feel like you can fit. And like that's kind of how Fushiguro does it. He discriminately chooses who he saves. Because there's no real other way for him to do so, because he doesn't feel like he can save everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way of putting it, honestly. Like it's one of those things of, and I kind of want to broach this just to make sure that like I don't get the wrong message across, is that when I was saying what I was saying just there, I was just kind of curious in terms of just like how every character kind of has their own sort of moral compass going on here. And I think that all of those are valid ways to like really approach having life, especially like with what you were saying, where it was like, oh, hey, Nobara has to deal with the fact that people in her life are going to come in and out so frequently that she can only care about so many.
It's something that happens with growing up too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know when's going to be the last day that you get to see someone who's really important to you.
Yeah.
But but so you can't put like the weight of somebody who may not be important to you on yourself all the time.
That's actually been a lesson I've had to very much deal with over the last couple of years, where it used to be I was the type of person that would take a lot of blame for things that I did not necessarily do,
Oh
but
yeah,
felt like I had failed to do for other people.
Yeah.
Like I blamed myself for inaction, and there's definitely points to blame people for inaction, but you can't be blaming everything bad that ever happened on your inaction as a person. And I feel like with Nobara's like approach to the world and the way that she approaches friendships, that I think that can actually be a very healthy way to deal with it, especially for a lot of adults who don't have the time or energy to really make those kinds of bonds on the frequent, you know?
Mm-hmm. And as you get older, it gets harder to make friends because a
Yeah.
lot of people become more set in their ways and settled into like their groups. So it might be for the best that like sometimes you only take so many seats, but sometimes you can have a lot of seats. Maybe Nobara has hundreds of seats that we don't know about, you know?
It's hard to say.
But like I don't think that this character is as bad as people had it. And I think a lot of people should like her more. I think people don't like her. I think there's certain people who don't like Nobara because she's not very feminine.
100% I have heard that.
She's very brutal.
Yeah,
like,
I've heard that from a lot of people, and I'm like,
She-
she's so cool though.
Yeah, she's action packed. Like, okay, so if you're feminine, then but you're doing action, like you could, that's all like good. But like when people want feminine, they generally want a B type person, like a Hinata Hyuga kind of person.
Yeah.
Some people don't need that. We already have that. Nobara is a fresh take on a woman character that's being put in a main primary character trio situation, and we're going to see more of her. So why not try and find the positives and be optimistic about it instead of literally calling a character uselessness in your autobiography of Naruto or your biography of Naruto, like. So not calling them by name, just calling them useless.
Yes.
So, like, Nobara's not useless. She gets a lot done. She's good support for the characters. She foils with Itadori and Fushiguro really well. This trio is a solid trio, and none of the characters are necessarily bad. We have a protagonist that's literally not hateable, I feel.
If you hate Itadori, like, and I say it this way, if Itadori were a real person and you were like, I hate that guy, what the fuck?
Like, what's wrong?
What the fuck is wrong with
what has he done, or what about him you dislike?
He didn't get the job done a couple times, but like he needed to not get the job done to figure out what it takes to get the job done. You know what I mean? Every time Itadori has failed, he's come back at it 100 times better and against obstacles that were 1,000,000 times harder, and most of which should have been completely insurmountable, and he still almost fucking won.
He is a fucking lord.
Like the only person who I had any problems with was Fushiguro, because he fucking can't keep it together for 5 minutes. And like even his best win is he barely won. But he makes up for it by winning very, very, very satisfyingly, because it's a payoff for something that they had been building for a long time. Fushiguro's battle against this special grade curse began the day Itadori died, and he won today. Like, that is so satisfying. Kugisaki did not get anything like that during that fight. She got taken away by a special grade by a curse, and she was about to die when Fushiguro saved her. In this situation, she was about to die and she saved herself.
And also turned into like the most metal fucking character along the way.
She was about to get eaten by that guy, and she said, I'm going to split him in half and stand there as his blood rains down on my body.
It's
And
so cool.
And there's nothing you, the brother who turned off his ability to save his brother, could do to save him or your fucking self. Watch my friend blow your arm off, and then I'm gonna fucking kill you. Don't worry, you'll be joining him soon.
She's so cool.
She's fantastic, honestly.
That was a good
Great
episode of
character.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Every character did everything right, and then they found Fushiguro on the ground.
Very well deserved.
And then they found Fushiguro on the ground, and then it does that, and then it did that end of season montage where they have all of the characters go like, oh, what are they doing now that the team of first years beat 3 special grade curses? You know, like, good job to them. They're real fucking ass kickers. And like the second years are like, I need to catch up with them. And Mahito and them are like, oh fuck, wow, whoa, what, whoa, that's cool. Like, so like the plot thickens. You know, everything's getting better. They've built up everything really nice for the next season. And now we have confidence in our protagonists' abilities to win battles without Satoru Gojo.
And it's going to make it so much better when our expectations are torn apart and our characters are probably destroyed in awful ways.
Yeah, one of these 3 is going to die by the end of the show.
They gotta. It's gotta.
I don't know who.
It's well, obviously Itadori is on the chopping block at all times.
He already died once. He could die again.
Yeah, but he can die a second time and still come back. Yusuke Urameshi did it.
True. But I think Fushiguro is going to eat it super hard.
I think Fushiguro's finished, or both Nobara and Itadori are going to die, and Fushiguro's going to have a bad end.
Oh god. So also before we end off on this Jujutsu Kaisen, there's one part that I wanted to mention that I still think is the funniest fucking thing. So you mentioned Fushiguro on the ground, and they wake him up, and they're like, hey man, what's up? Hey, I'm gonna give you this finger, Itadori. Don't eat it, okay?
Oh yeah. Oh, how could I forget? You're right.
Yeah, don't eat the finger, okay, Itadori?
Read my lips, Itadori. Do not eat this finger.
Yeah, I won't eat the finger. It's all good.
No problem.
Then he reaches for the finger, and Sukuna's mouth opens up on his hand and just eats it.
Oh no,
the
classic Daidara bait and switch gets him every time.
And then fucking Itadori just looks at him. He's like, dude, what the fuck? Why didn't you help me earlier? And you just go and take the finger? You fucking shithead.
Oh yeah. So Itadori wasn't mad that Sukuna ate it, right?
Yeah.
Itadori was mad that Sukuna didn't help them out.
He was
during
so
the mission.
He's like, dude, I would have given you the finger, but like you didn't help us in the match.
If you gave us something during this match, we wouldn't have had to go through this, Sukuna. You would have just gotten the finger. And Sukuna's just like, I'm so fucking evil.
Yeah. Sukuna is delightfully a shithead. I fucking love Sukuna and just how shitty he is just on principle. He's a delight. And like, I get that there's complaints that you don't see him enough, but I feel like that's what makes his appearances more special.
That's fair. It's just there's not enough pay. It's really funny because I was starting to complain about how we hadn't seen Sukuna in a while. And you were going like, hey, we haven't seen Sukuna in a while. And I was like, yeah, it sucks. There's no payoff to Sukuna right now. And then we see him 20 minutes later. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So Jujutsu Kaisen, in my opinion, a little slow on its turnout for payoffs. But like they're I think they're overthinking long-term booking by exactly an episode and a half per event. But that might just be the pacing of the episodes, and like I haven't read the manga yet personally, but you know I'm getting to the point where I kind of have to. So
I mean, you don't.
No, I think I gotta see it. I gotta see if somebody bites it in the next season. Like, you know what I mean? just so then I can get ready to review it. Like,
oh God.
Because I'll just stay quiet as you two are watching the episodes until we get to the point where someone bites it, and then I'll start being real loud.
See, I just can't wait until I can do
Well,
this
like-
shit with Chainsaw Man, and I'm just watching this with y'all motherfuckers being like, I know everything.
Well, I was gonna say at the very least, like since none of us know anything about what's gonna happen to Jujutsu Kaisen, why not just stay in the dark and then all of our reactions are genuine.
I might like see what the next arc has and then make a decision, because like I've heard that it's kind of a slow burn in the next parts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, and that'll just turn me off. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
I've done slow burn animes, 3 of them in fact. I'm good. One of them's still going. I'm done waiting for Hajime no Ippo to move. So that's for now, that's Jujutsu Kaisen.
Until we watch a movie.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I would
Yeah.
rate this show incredibly highly. I absolutely adored this. What the fuck?
I think it was a very good season 1. I think the show deserves the the praise and the merit that it has.
Yeah.
Like
I think
it was good.
I think that as a pandemic show, it's unfortunate that this show didn't do better than it already did, and it probably would have if there wasn't a problem going on in the world. But I mean, it was after the problem got out of its like biggest level of intensity. Because
if
like, it was in
anything, I want to say the
2021.
pandemic might have even resulted in a boost in this show, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because a lot of people were stuck at home. They were just watching shit on streaming services.
that's fair.
Yeah. If anything, a lot of the time, the pandemic led to the rise of media being consumed.
It led to the rise of animated media specifically because it meant that people could make things without having to physically be there and act.
That's fair.
So I think what happened, like this isn't just in Japan, this is in general. Like we did get more animated like media within the pandemic. That's just a fact.
That's fair. Well, I'm not talking about like the amount of content, like the quantity of content.
But I
or
think
the
that,
quality,
like,
even just more like how it was consumed. And I think that like I think that this show wasn't very well advertised.
I can't even remember if it was on. Did it hit Toonami ever?
I think
think so. Was the dub on Toonami? I thought it was on like Funimation.
Oh, I know it was on Funimation, but the thing is, Toonami syndicates it.
It was on Adult Swim.
Yeah, that's basically Toonami.
Okay.
Yeah. Toonami. Yeah, it was. There were times where it was on Toonami.
Yeah, because Toonami is literally just the Saturday Adult Swim block.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I will say at this point, the show is doing pretty well, so I wouldn't worry too much about it, like whether or not it would do better or not. Like, I want to say that at that point, it's more along the lines of we might not have quite been paying attention to it, but I knew it existed. And the fact that I knew it
Yeah.
existed, I think means way good in terms of just marketing alone.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that ends Jujutsu Kaisen, that ends Kongming, and it almost ends Tomo Game and Spy Family. So we're like super duper close to having to find new shit to watch.
Yeah, which means we can either do some one-offs or we can just go into some other shows.
Well, we'll discuss it. We'll find out what to do.
I mean, if we're gonna have an open discussion here real quick, I was thinking that like if we go back
Well, I
and
meant like
watch,
discussing
like-
after the fact.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
well, that's what I mean, is like after the show.
We also
All right.
do read the comments, guys. If you have something for us, this show will be out a week before we put out the next episode, so
yeah, we'll have time.
we'll
We'll
have
get your feedback.
time, and we'll happily watch it. We do the watch along for Jujutsu Kaisen right before we record, so it wouldn't be a burden to any of us. But if anyone has anything cool for us to watch, we'll give it a go.
Or at the very least, we'll read the comment and be like, that's a show. And then I'll be like, so we're watching Death Note.
Oh my god!
Nick,
make the
if
show
we're-
not bad, please.
Well, like, which Death Note do you want to watch?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Japanese live action movies.
Yeah, I'm so down for Japanese live
Japanese
action.
live action movies.
Yes.
Please.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
3 movies. They're good.
They are actually good.
They're the Gurren Hen and Lagann Hen of Death Note. And then you get a sequel. So
Well-
imagine if we got a Gurren Hen, a Lagann Hen, and then a Tengen Toppa Hen.
Oh god, I'm too tired to think about this shit. So at this point, I will say we will table it for now. But I just want to say real quick, thank you all for watching. If you somehow made it to the end of this, I very much appreciate it. Feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe, follow if you're on Spotify or whatever. You can follow me, RedMufflerMan, at RedMufflerMan on Twitter and on YouTube, as well as Twitch. Kai?
You can follow me at Cable Art on Twitter. Lana?
You can follow me on Red Technotenor or Red Technotenor on YouTube, Technotenor 487 on Twitter, and if you have, you'll be able to see some content from us very soon. We just finished the scripting for episode 1 of Precarious Trainer Unions, my Pokemon themed audio play that is going to be releasing sometime in 2023. If you're an artist and you want to take part, please let us know. We'll happily look at your portfolio.
And of course, feel free to follow our sister channel, Geek Culture Explained, as well as the sister channel, Comics Explained. Definitely support Rob. He lets us do a lot of this, and we would not be where we currently are without that. So yeah, at this point, we are going to be signing off. So have a good one, everyone. Take it easy.
Thank
good
you.
night.
Take care.